In a studio that's in a basement comes the epic story of how two friends changed the future of the movie podcast game forever. The reviews are in. Boys Life magazine gives the High Sci podcast 4.5 acorns. The Daily Bugle says, these guys are super legit. And Pope Francis declares the podcast as life-affirming. From the kid who tried to get smart with David Spade and got fucking old.
You're still out. You're still bad.
And the guy who can name all four Baldwin brothers.
Alec, William, Daniel, and the baby boy, Stephen.
Live from the studio of his parents' basement. The Have You Seen It podcast.
Mason, we gotta talk about how people are probably hearing it as they're listening to us. Just how smooth this baby's running right now.
This thing is running like a well-oiled machine.
Yes, sir. For the first time ever, this thing is running like it should be, like a
a brand new computer.
But why is that?
Because we have
Finally
since upgraded
Yes.
our studio to a brand new computer.
Brand new.
And it is running mighty fine.
This is the first real podcast on the new computer.
It is.
We talked about it all last week. How we kept doing the last few podcasts on the last computer, and we gave it the last computer a rightful funeral
And a good send off.
a burial at sea.
And
we
kind
did go out into the Pacific Ocean and gave it a naval burial, as anyone would, traditional.
After we spent all that time,
After
and
years of
money and effort,
service, yes.
we then looked at each other and went, why did we do this?
Yeah, we could
That
have
way?
still used
It was strange, but we did it nonetheless to give the respect that
Well,
the
it was
computer
it's a
deserved.
respect thing. I mean, it's not about money at that
It
time.
isn't.
It's about years of service and thanking her for those years of service.
Being
So
a
we gave
servicewoman.
her- Yeah,
Yes.
we gave her the same death of Osama bin Laden, which I think is right.
It's just as good. I mean, I guess, just
I
dump them in the ocean. No one will ever find them again. So
No, and God forbid, two things people don't want to find out in the ocean is that Mac computer and Osama bin Laden.
yeah, definitely.
Corpse.
I
because-
don't want to find either one.
No, not at this point. Because his either one aren't gonna be looking good after a while. But yeah. So what are we recording? How are we christening in the voyage of this new computer?
Is there a better way to do it than to talk about? Did you ever think we were going to see a Toy Story 4, which is the movie we are reviewing today on the podcast? But that's my opening question to you, Cash. Did you ever think we were going to get a Toy Story 4 after the way Toy Story 3 ended? It wrapped up the trilogy perfectly.
I didn't think that we needed one, but I'm not really super shocked that they're giving us a Toy Story 4.
Really?
Because it makes a lot of money.
It does. It makes.
So I'm not shocked if anything makes a lot of money. I'm never shocked to see a sequel of it. But yeah,
see,
I did
because
think that they
typically-
wrapped. But now that I've seen Toy Story 4, I say,
Bring on 5.
well, not even that, but I think they wrapped it well this time. I think we'll get into our reviews and everything, but I think Toy Story 3 was more of a wrap for Andy as a character,
As the toy
and
owner.
now we're getting the wrap for the toys. We're getting the send off that Woody and Buzz and them need, and maybe that will be it. Because
Yeah, I can't wait to
they
jump
didn't
into
really
this.
get an ending at the very end of Toy Story. They were doing the same kind of thing. Eventually, those kids have got to grow up, but now we got a real ending where Woody is spoiler, but he'll be around forever, running around doing all kinds of creepy toy,
He will be.
live, living toy shit. That
Do you want to hear something really weird I did as a kid?
Sure.
It's right out here in this backyard. I
Oh, this is
I
gonna
really
be-
like this toy that I got, and it was just a stupid little toy, but I didn't want anyone else to have it.
Yeah,
So
you're
I
selfish.
buried it
You're
outside.
selfish, you
I
admit.
buried it.
You
And
were
I do
so
not remember
selfish that
where I buried my toy. I've been legitimately been trying, like 2 or 3 different times in my life. I went out there and tried to bury the spot and couldn't find it.
You're gonna find out it was like a $1 Million Man original 1960s, or it's like the Boba Fett, the Kenner one that has the shooting that like only 1,000 of them were made because and then you just lost it because you're so selfish as a child, which is odd for children to even be selfish.
Strange, yes.
For even
Well,
to
not really. They always say mine. That's a pretty selfish thing. Mine.
Well, that's because that's the first word that most kids learn, and one of their first words is the vocab. So how old were you when we're talking here? Give us an age.
Probably.
Because I'm guessing
9
it's
or
a little
10.
older
Yeah, it's
than
a
what
little older
I'm
than that,
assuming.
yeah.
Yes.
Probably like 9 or 10.
So for you to not want so badly for no one to want this toy that even you can't have it, it's a whole psychological.
It is. It's pretty messed up. I mean, in hindsight. But the reason why I brought
But of
that
course,
up,
you weren't the brightest kid.
No,
Let's
I
make
was
that
not.
clear.
I wasn't the sharpest
You were-
knife
no.
in the old.
No. So
drawer.
who knows how many toys are buried out there?
There are quite a few.
Right, I
Actually.
agree.
It's a graveyard of toys, and I feel real bad after watching Toy Story my whole life.
Yeah,
I'm
because
like,
you
I
buried
that toy alive.
and that's haunting.
It's terrifying because
And
that
that's-
toy is probably still struggling.
And
to
it's
get
hard.
out.
It's hard not to think about that when watching Toy Story about just
all the things you used to do to toys too.
all the horrible
you
shit
know?
that kids have probably done. I mean,
I would take my toys and just throw them up in the
oh,
air,
same, yeah,
man, like just
yeah.
on concrete.
just to
You just, like, you
destroy
don't
them.
care.
I would, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, blow up toys, light toys on fire,
Mhm.
throw them out
Especially
the
from
car.
the Dollar Tree.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Kids would wrap string around toys and throw them out the window of the bus and just drag them along. Like,
Yep.
imagine that torture.
I had a literal Woody that I used to take on the treadmill because we used to have a treadmill in here. I used to throw him and watch him.
And that's
just
even
shoot off.
knowing that toy was alive.
Of course,
Because you
and I
obviously
still
had.
did it.
Sadistic.
It is very sadistic. It's
Yeah.
not good.
No, it's definitely not. But yeah, you got to think about that kind of stuff. These toys have seen a lot.
Yeah.
They have been through quite a. I mean, they had to grow up through Andy going through his teenager years.
Not wanting them anymore.
Well, but I mean, being 13, 12, but just imagine the things they had to see when Andy got a computer. I know Andy lived in the 90s, and I know what I was doing on my computer when I first got.
Yep. Going
so-
on MySpace.
Going on MySpace. A
A
lot of MySpace.
Not enough time for the toys.
No, definitely not. Too much MySpace time was the problem. Yeah. Hey, you gotta update your top friends and see.
do.
You gotta make it clear who you like and who you don't
And
like.
you know what? Top Friends was the biggest fucking deal back then.
It's
if you weren't
it
on
could
someone's
never
top-
it could
top
never have been
10
a
list-
good. It was never a good idea. I mean, I can't even
No,
imagine
it's terrible. You're
introducing it.
publicly, you're publicly showing people who
Like,
you
what if we
favorite
just
more.
make crazy animosity between
Everyone,
everyone's
yeah.
friends?
And
like-
all kids. No wonder we're all fucked up psychologically. We had top friends. What's
Oh,
more psychologically damaged than going on a good friend of yours and seeing you're a seventh guy? You're
well,
like,
you
"What?"
could get molested. That's probably more psychologically damaging.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from.
Well, you said what could be more psychologically damaging.
Oh, we're getting molested. Yeah, well, okay.
I mean,
guess
there's a few things that could be
hindsight, there
more
are. There are a
psychologically
few.
damaging than someone moving your top friends. I mean, I can think of 5 things off the top of my head that could be worse, more psychologically damaging
But
than.
it's, yeah, I
mean,
guess so.
There's quite a few things.
There are.
But yeah, it was definitely emotional. Just being moved down like one spot, 2 to 3. And then you got to go to school next day and be like, yeah, I was
and then you got to sit
on
next
your,
to the guy, and you're like,
I was on your MySpace, just browsing, just seeing what's
scrolling through the
I was in the
timeline.
neighborhood and I saw your name pop up. I'm like, hey, I haven't been on anyone's profile. I haven't been on. So yeah, I got to. So I saw and I got moved down to what's going on there.
kind of wondering
always
what's
awkward.
Yeah. And
Always
always
awkward.
having to have those 15-minute scheduled meetings with your friends.
Yeah, and it's always like a weird reason too, where it's like I just felt like just like I
In
thought
the mood
change it
today,
up.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
I haven't talked to you in a week. I don't know what has changed, but yes, we are here not to talk about MySpace, but to talk about Toy Story 4. I think that this is the last one. This is the last one for sure.
Yeah, but we said that last time too. People said that last time with Toy Story 3. I think they could do a 5th, but just not have Woody in it. You could do a story from Buzz.
Woody's the main character.
Yeah, I know.
Buzz doesn't have enough character. I don't want to watch Buzz for 2 hours.
No.
He's not. He doesn't have the wit.
Buzz had his own freaking TV show though.
Yeah,
Or
and that
did
show
they
was
back in
cool
the
though.
day? It
Well,
was.
they gave him a lot more life in that TV show.
They did in the Lightyear show.
Because he was an actual he wasn't a toy.
He was a
in the
real
TV
ranger.
show.
Yeah, he was a real ranger.
He was he was in the Space Marines or whatever it was. So he saw some life and death.
Yeah,
he
did.
saw there was
You saw some real shit.
There's some sadness
Which-
behind those
which
old
will,
Buzz Lightyear.
mature you up
Yeah.
pretty fast.
But yeah, so I don't think this one really did end it. I think this is gonna be, and it's kind of, not only is it ending for these characters, but it's an ending for everyone that has worked on all these Toy Stories and how they're talking about and everything. I get why they keep doing Toy Story, because it was Pixar's first movie, so every time they get to do a Toy Story, it's them doing what they've always wanted to do with the first one. Because the first one, they were so limited, obviously.
Oh,
I mean,
of course.
go back.
Look at the dog. The dog
It's
looks
rough.
out of a PlayStation 1 game.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
mean, it's smooth. Like glad
Yeah.
dogs aren't smooth. Have you ever had touched a dog before? They have fur.
They
It's a
do.
big part of a
Yes.
dog. And that
Majority
dog,
of
the
them.
dog in the first Toy Story, no hair. They
None.
couldn't do hair. They couldn't
Big
do
old eyes and just shapes. It
yeah,
was
and they
like a
couldn't do
shape.
humans. That's why they barely ever showed any of Andy's family or anything. They only showed them from like hands and feet and waist up, and in dark and whatnot, because of how limited the technology was. But now, I mean, the first thing we got to talk about is just how good looking this movie looks. I mean, the animation is
Dude,
incredible.
insane.
At some point, you forget you're watching a cartoon.
It's so detailed.
Everyone's kind of talking about it, but the cat
the
and
cat
the
looks
antique.
incredible. That looked actual real. I was
I
like, is that a
mean,
cat or is that
It's
animation?
insane, yeah. So it's got to
That,
be.
But also all the reflections too. I mean, Bo Peep.
But the
What a-
the lighting and even like the chandeliers and the rain and the water and
The rain looked fantastic.
going from
Even
where-
coming off of the house and off
yeah,
the
and
car.
the mud and everything,
Yeah.
and going from where they couldn't show any water or anything, and it's got to be pretty nice knowing that. I mean, you started out, because a lot of people that started out in Pixar are still working there and still doing this, so it's got to be cool to see how far your progress has come.
Oh, over
You can-
over a quarter century.
Yeah, it's one of those
you
few
know?
jobs where you can see where you started out, and then just really measure how far, because I mean, it's night
You
and
can really
day.
appreciate your progress too.
Yeah.
You know.
And Toy Story, the first Toy Story broke all those walls, and then every Toy Story after that. The first Toy
Well,
Story, I think, is the only one
And
that's.
I don't say this lightly, but it did actually revolutionize
Oh, yeah.
cartoons. I mean, and we've talked about this before, but when Toy Story came out, 2D animation shortly after this was essentially obsolete after what, 6 years?
Yeah, it wasn't long
6
after.
to
I
8
mean,
years,
it was.
maybe?
Yeah.
I mean, when I say majority of films were then being picked up by Pixar.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
stuff
Yeah.
doing
Well,
those.
Toy Story
rather than
came
2D.
out in 1995,
Yeah.
and by then, I don't think too many people were scared because just how they saw that it was limited. But by the time that Bugs Life came out,
Mhm. Bugs Life. was
2D
great.
animation was on its way out, yeah. But it was Toy Story that made all that possible.
Mhm.
Without Toy Story, Bugs Life, Monsters Inc., all that shit would have never been possible. Because every movie they did, just became more and more advanced. With
Yep.
Monsters Inc. perfecting like hair and shit like that. And Rain, I heard, was really hard to do because you got to render all this shit, and it takes days to render like
yeah,
a
it
single
takes so
scene. Yeah,
long.
just for us to save a single podcast on that on this
On the
Mac.
old
Imagine
Mac.
being in 1995.
Oh my god! On Windows 95, trying to render.
Well,
that,
they had
it
to
took
invent a lot of new technology just to run all that original Toy Story. But yeah, this one looks amazing. It's the best looking, arguably the best looking Pixar film, I think.
I
out
think
of
it
any of
is.
them. I mean,
but
to
then
me,
again, I haven't seen like Good Dinosaur and shit. But
well, Good Dinosaur is like one of the worst.
oh, okay. Well, I'm not missing much then. But I mean, as far as
But this compared to like Wall-E, Wall-E is one of my favorite, and Wall-E is one of the most beautiful, I think, Pixar films. And a lot of people say, but yeah, this one, it looks amazing. Just the carnival and everything looked awesome.
Mhm.
But yeah, what do you think, Mason? Was this everything that you hoped for of it being? Did you cry? Did you weep?
No, I didn't. But my entire theater. I went Thursday night. Now that I work mornings, and almost the entire theater was packed at the GXL, and I'm not over exaggerating. There was not one kid in the theater. Not one kid. They were all adults in the theater. Now, when I say no kids, there might have been 2 or 3 16, 17-year-old kids, but that's it. They were all pretty much adults. And everyone was crying at the end of this. Legitimately, especially the women, they were all crying in the theater. So it was very emotional. This movie was great. Is it my favorite Toy Story, though? No, it's not. But there's never a bad Toy Story. Ever,
No, and
in
you
my
knew.
opinion.
I was pleasantly surprised with this one. I mean, I knew it was gonna be good. No matter what, I knew it was gonna be good. I knew it was gonna get great reviews. I just wasn't sure if it was just gonna be another Toy Story 3, because the trailer made it look like it was very similar with that doll and everything being very similar to the bear and everything, but it wasn't that at all. The doll was a completely different kind of bad guy. I'll say,
and I like the way
she
they
wasn't
took that,
really
too.
a bad guy.
She wasn't really bad.
It actually
But,
been
man,
I did.
some fucking creepy scenes. In
I
this, and
love.
I
was laughing so hard at her all of her dolls, like the Slappy dolls from Ghostbusters. They were so goddamn funny to me. Well, I can't remember what they're called, but just how scary they were looking. Yeah, very frightening for sure. I love the one at the very end that was in the bassinet or whatever at the end, and the lady like opens it up. It's the carriage or whatever.
Oh,
at the very
yes.
end. He just turns around. She starts screaming, freaking out. Yeah. Scary shit. Those are the dolls you don't want alive. Those are the ones you don't want to come alive because they will murder you. Those ones always end up being
eventually.
Yeah. Any kind of doll. What are those dolls called?
They're ventriloquist dolls.
Ventriloquist dummies.
Dummies. Yeah.
Fucking horribly frightening, man. Those
They're
are
so
never
creepy.
fun. Those
I
aren't
can't believe
fun
they
for
used to
anyone.
use those back in the day.
Yeah, back in the 50s, that's all they had. Again, we talk about it all the time. 50s, very scary.
Not a fun place.
Everything
to be,
that was supposed to be fun was just fucking frightening. Every time you thought it was supposed to be cute, it was just something that would scare the shit out of us. We've talked about Disney before, but Disney was scary back in the day.
It was.
But this opens up and it drops us some emotion right off the bat. That little Bo Peep exit scene.
Yes.
And
we open up with a flashback too.
Didn't expect that. Didn't expect right out. It was kind of they give us the Up treatment. At the start of Up, it's the saddest fucking. I mean, who puts an old lady dying in the first 10 minutes of your movie?
An asshole.
You're an asshole. Yeah, that's all you are.
That's all
you are.
You're an asshole. Yeah.
But it gave us, and that's immediately it sets up the entire movie, and it lets you know that you're gonna be sad throughout.
It's gonna be an emotional roller coaster.
Buckle, and it again. We joke about it all the time, but it is. I do think there is something more emotional about growing up with these characters. I mean, we talk about we joked about how there better not be any kids or anything, which obviously it's a kids' film and I don't really care about. But I think it is a little more emotional seeing these characters that you
grew up with.
Yeah, and it's always weird feeling so sad. It always dawns on me how weird it is, how emotionally attached we can be to these toys. These toys that, I mean, with Bo Peep and Woody and how their relationship and everything. You're damn near crying at the end, and you're thinking, "These are fucking toys."
That's literally what I thought too.
I'm like, why do I care so much about these toys? I mean, even if they were really alive, but that's a great job that Pixar can make you care about literally fucking anything, and that just proves if a story's good enough, it could be a rock, and you could care about it. Because normally you wouldn't give a shit, but it's emotional.
They do a very good job of that, though.
They do.
Especially with the last 25 years of really having their audience have a connection to these characters.
Yeah.
Like, we really grew up with them and loved them. And dude, it was tough for me not even getting emotional at the end of this one because I'm like, man, like this, I don't know. We all connect to Toy Story in a very special way because obviously it was revolutionary in its approach, but it's also, these characters just mean a lot to us.
It's such a huge part of any kid from the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna really have to go out of your way to find a kid from the 90s that doesn't have some kind of emotional tie to Toy Story, unless it's like an Amish child.
Yes, and I listen to a few different podcasts, and I listen to these like 40, 50-year-old guys who talk about movies, and they're like, yeah, just never been a big fan,
and I can see it. I can definitely see it.
But they were 25, 30 when the first one came out, so I get it. But to listen to that and to listen to a different perspective, and I'm like, how do you not love Toy Story? You guys are crazy. And they're like, yeah, we didn't see Toy Story 2 until last year. And I'm like, what? I'm listening to their podcast. I'm like, how do you have a movie review podcast? 1,100 episodes. And you just saw Toy Story 2 last year, But it's a different time period for them.
And you got to think, imagine you being back there. Imagine you being 30 years old when the original Toy Story comes out. And it's 1995. So I mean, it's a damn
you've
near
never-
heyday for
Exactly.
films.
And you've never
For
seen
adult
anything like it
films.
before either.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you just hear a
Yeah,
cartoon,
yeah.
kids movie.
So would you have gone really? I mean,
No,
would
I
you have
wouldn't
been
have.
interested?
I wouldn't
That
have.
interested? And to be honest, we didn't even grow up going and seeing it in the theater. We grew up with it on VHS and being able to watch it twice a day
Yes.
for 5 years in a row.
To be fair, I did see Toy Story 2, but not the original.
yeah, no, you didn't. I mean, unless your parents brought
Took
you
me
as
when
an
I was an
infant, which is
infant, yeah.
bad parenting.
Terrible.
Bad movie etiquette. I'll say that because someone did bring their child, their baby, to my showing.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and it did cry a little bit, and they did. At one point, he went out and like halfway, like didn't leave.
So the baby could still, you could
So
still hear the baby crying.
baby.
It's like,
but the
dude,
guy still wanted
just
to
'cause you
watch
left
the
a little
movie.
bit,
I know.
yeah.
So you like, I don't want to waste. But yeah, and fine if you can actually take the baby. But I feel like the guy was there for himself because he was like a millennial.
exactly.
He just had
He's
a
a
bunch
millennial
of kids.
himself. He just had a kid, and he's like, God,
And the
dang
kids
it.
kind of didn't really care as much, but he really cared about it. So yeah, he kind of halfway took the baby out, which was kind of annoying, but it was okay for me. Wasn't too bad. I expected there to be some kids because I went during the day. But yeah, so we get that first opening, and it's a flashback. It's 9 years. It's between the events of the previous 2 films. And RC, the little remote control car that's in every fucking one of them, is being swept down a storm drain. Woody being the hero that he is, and the other toys, they're trying to make a successful rescue operation. And while they're busy, though, a mysterious buyer comes and buys Bo Peep, Woody's love interest.
We got to talk about this opening scene, though. This flashback was awesome.
Yeah,
It was very tense, like super, super tense. And obviously the CGI or whatever you want to, computer animation was really awesome. The rain, the mud, everything. Like the sequence of him getting stuck and like trying to go, and Woody's reaching out trying to grab him.
Yeah.
You know, it was a really good scene.
And it was
that took me by surprise right away. I was like, holy shit, this is gonna be good.
And it kind of built it up where we got to go back to those original moments and see them now, but like, of course, with the good technology and a good rendering and everything like that.
Right, we get to see him in
So we
Andy's
got to
house.
see a young Andy as with really good animation though, and we got to see his mom and his sister and everything like that, and kind of. So that was a kind of cool setup, yeah, for
definitely.
sure. And but yeah, someone comes and buys Bo Peep because the kids are kind of getting older or whatever.
Well, and we've always
Molly-
known this with Andy's sister. She never keeps anything for very long. She always gets rid of her toys, and that was one of the
Well,
things.
she's
here,
pretty
too.
much the stereotypical child where most kids don't hang on to their toys for 18 years. Like you got to
Andy.
think about Andy. He had the same toy. I mean, that's got to be the best kid ever. Never having Christmas, easiest Christmas ever. You just buy
buy an
new
accessory.
Woody shit.
Yeah.
I mean, so not a lot of kids. I mean, you got to think. Yeah, I didn't hang on to any toys for more than a year or something until
I don't
got
have
bored.
any toys from.
They're all
my
buried in the
childhood.
background. In the
Oh, yeah, that's
backyard.
right. I did do that for a little while. That's correct.
But
So I guess I do have a few toys. I just can't find them.
But so the person comes, the mysterious person comes, and they're gonna go get Bo Peep after eventually Woody does rescue RC, and it's cool because we get all the characters. We get Slink, Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head, and a lot of those characters are passed away now.
Yeah, they're
I mean,
dead.
so those voices that they're hearing are either people doing impressions or what they did with Mr. Potato
Yeah,
Head.
they pulled out old footage.
Yeah, because that was
Don
Rickles.
Rickles,
Don
yeah.
Rickles, yeah. And which I'm usually not for that, but apparently his family came forward because he's been in all of the
all the Toy Stories.
His
since the
family came
original.
forward and said, "Do whatever you can." And apparently they pulled not just from the movies, but from audio from video games, audio from rides from Disneyland. So they had a ton of audio, and they were able to make a whole nother performance.
Well, and he wasn't even in it that much either. He didn't have a lot of dialogue,
No, well,
in this.
which is probably
which is okay. Yeah.
and which makes sense if you don't have the guy with you.
My only slight gripe on this movie. I don't know if we want to jump into this already. Do we want to or?
No, we can talk about it. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know what you're bringing up. But
I was kind of one thing I was a little upset about with this movie. I really loved the story. We got to see Woody more in his moral dilemma here. but we didn't see. I don't think we got enough of Buzz. I was kind of upset. We hardly got to see Buzz at all in this. And for like a Woody and Buzz, like I know Woody is the main character of Toy Story, but I feel like Buzz in a lot of ways is. Now, granted, you go back to Toy Story 3, Buzz had a ton because there were two Buzzes, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, Buzz, the normal Buzz, and then the upgraded Buzz with the belt.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of Buzz in that movie, but I didn't feel like we hardly got any Buzz.
And I see what you're saying, but I disagree with. I was fine with how much Buzz we got because I feel like Buzz's story has been told.
Yeah.
Buzz.
And how many times can you retell it, right?
Well, Buzz
'Cause
was
essentially it's the same
Buzz was
thing.
kind of the archetype of the first movie. You know, he came in, he was a new toy.
Mhm.
The second movie was kind of all about Buzz and his dad. What's his name? And then the
You
third,
mean Woody and you mean the second one?
yeah, the second one was with a lot with Buzz and what was the main bad guy from the second one? Invader Zur.
Right. Well, okay, yeah. And then we got Stinky Pete too.
Yeah, well, Stinky Pete, that was with Woody.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Woody.
but
In the second one,
uh-huh.
he was an antagonist too in the end. But
Yeah.
that's right. I forgot about the whole Zurg thing too. in
Oh,
the one,
yeah,
too.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
And
That was
then
a
the
big
third one
story arc.
again, we got him. So I really think that we've had his, and I think this whole time that Woody, although Woody is kind of the main character, Woody has been the one holding them all together this entire time. I think this was more of his send-off story the entire time.
Yeah.
I mean, that is literally what it was.
And-
because at one point he says, "This is all I have left," and that was kind of the entire feeling of the entire thing. Is all through all three movies, he's been the one. I mean, he's been the leader or whatever, and now he's starting to not have a role. So it's his retirement.
Yeah, because we start to see Bonnie kind of shun
Yeah,
Woody.
yeah.
He's just not as important anymore as he
Yeah.
once was.
So it's kind of his farewell. Yeah. So I wasn't too upset about Buzz taking a backseat because I think he kind of needed to.
Well, and at the end
for
of 3,
Woody to
didn't he
tell a
get
story.
reset too? Didn't they reset him?
Buzz?
Yeah,
Yeah, but he came back normal.
right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He's not like factory.
Well, no,
reset.
it's
They
not
didn't
like
have to,
C-3PO and
retrain him or
R2-D2.
anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Bo, she gets taken away, and Woody tries to save her, and Bo eventually says that she's ready to go, and Bonnie doesn't need her anymore, and she's ready for a new family, which is,
And she says that,
tough
you know,
scene.
yeah.
and she
gotta let
she
it-
invites Woody to go with her, and Woody's right about to do it, and which again was kind of, I mean, it was obviously foreshadowing because that was the entire point, but it showed that he would have went, and because he wanted to be with Bo this entire time, but he knew he had a bigger job. He was sheriff of that goddamn house.
Exactly.
He
And
had
at
to take care
the
of
time, he was
everything.
still with Andy. Even though
Yeah.
Andy was getting older, he was
Yeah.
still with Andy. And that
And
was
he-
his first toy. I mean, Andy opened him,
Yeah,
you know, so.
and that was the only thing that kept him. Really, was the thought of Andy being alone. Because and Bo eventually gets taken away. Heartbreaking.
It is
Poor Woody
heartbreaking.
loses his gal.
Yeah, he does.
Loses those 3 sheep too. Those 3 sheep have a lot of scenes in them. They're funny. I really enjoyed when they were in it. But it finally goes back 2 years later and kind of shows the progression of everything, of them moving through and going to Bonnie and whatnot, and Annie getting older, and it does like a quick thing going through that. And 2 years after Annie donated his toys to Bonnie, Woody and the other toys are content in their life. They're living with the other toys, and Bonnie is feeling overwhelmed because she's starting kindergarten. And you know kindergarten, that's some scary shit.
It's tough. Yeah,
It's
when
tough for
you're-
everyone. It's
If
not a
you
good
don't
time.
make a friend within the first 5 minutes,
You're done.
You're done.
You might be
You're
done for the next
for.
12 years. Yeah, you might have to go to a new school because, kids
And
are.
Bonnie's not looking too comfortable in this new setting.
No, she hates it, and Woody knows. And thank God for Woody, man.
What a
think
hell of a toy.
every kid, if every kid had a Woody, they would be fucking. Yeah, it sounds sexual, but if every kid had a toy, I mean,
Yes.
that took care of them,
Mhm.
we would all have a perfect goddamn
We
world.
would. We would.
I
We'd have a
mean,
lot more happy kids. when
Woody
you
is
think
looking
about it.
out for these kids. My God,
is.
dude. Who knows what kind of kid Bonnie would have become without her toy Woody? She would have become a freak, an outcast. Yeah, but yeah, so
she would have been making Forky in a whole nother way, right? A shank.
yeah. So she's feeling overwhelmed. Woody, who Bonnie is starting to neglect. So she stopped playing with Woody. She's kept him into the closet, which is kind of a funny scene when he's left behind with all the old toys, and he's trying to like lie to himself.
Yeah, and
say
they're all
that-
looking at him like,
Yeah.
And I love when they go up to the thing and they're like, man, they're playing
I
tea
love that too.
time.
Like
We
House.
haven't done
Remember
tea
when he used to
time."
do
Yeah,
House?
yeah.
House was fun. Yeah, they're all like reminiscing about.
I haven't played in
Yeah,
months
I
and
know.
years.
But eventually Woody sneaks into her backpack, for obeying the wish of the new leader of the house. I can't remember, Dolly, I think her name was. She's like the leader of. She's essentially Woody's old job that he was with Andy, where he used to roll the room and everything. Yep. And we also see that there's a new sheriff.
There is a new sheriff.
She makes what's her name? The sheriff.
Jesse.
Jesse. Yeah. So that's got to piss Woody off.
Oh yeah.
He's got to be thinking women can't be sheriffs. He's
Who's thinking that?
Woody. He's coming.
Whoa.
You gotta think he's coming from.
I don't know.
He's coming
He
from the
seemed-
50s.
Yeah, that's true. He's very old school,
He's-
right? He's very old school in his traditional thinking.
His traditional way. So he's seen a lot of stuff back there in the
Yeah.
1950s. So he's got to be thinking this is just unacceptable. This is not.
This is not okay.
This just can't happen. No. So he's taking hits left and right. We get the feeling that
one after another.
for sure. And eventually, though, Woody, he helps old Bonnie out because Bonnie, she's left behind. No one wants to play with her. Everyone's been that kid, the stinky kid. No wants to play with the monkey on the monkey bars and whatnot. And but Woody helps her out, gives her some like supplies, and Bonnie makes a new toy.
That was a funny scene too when he's trying to get out of the backpack. He hops into the garbage can
Yeah,
and then throws it up for her. It was a cute moment because she was crying alone at the
I
table.
know.
Man, this movie tugs at your old heartstrings.
And this scene, I was
You see a
thinking,
little kid cry,
what
you're
if,
like, aw.
what if someone's just like watching the security tape? He's just seeing this.
I gotta report this.
This is Satan. This is Satan making.
When you know
these...
every surveillance guy's stoned to the gill, so he's like, "Am I actually seeing this shit?"
I know, but you got footage now. You got to be thinking after like the 90s, being a toy became a much
harder
bigger
job.
problem now. Because there's cameras everywhere. So like,
Everywhere.
there's got to be so many of just crazy. Because imagine you're just watching one day. You know, you're a security, whatever. You're watching, and then these toys come alive. You're thinking, I gotta burn this building to the ground. This is Satan. Is
demonic
coming.
toys are running around.
We are
causing
built
chaos
on
in this building.
ancient burial ground
Yeah.
that we need to destroy. These kids are in trouble, and I gotta help them.
These fucking toys are hiding in their backpacks. This is not good for the children. We gotta keep
It's
these
scary
kids
world,
safe.
man. One of these toys wakes up one day and decides he doesn't want to be a toy anymore. We're gonna have problems.
We will. And we
We're-
just always assume that every toy is just
gonna be
good
cool.
in nature. Yeah.
And we find out that a lot of them are dicks. They're just like people. They all have conscience and they all have different. What's his name?
Forky?
What's the bear's name from the third one?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember.
It's like Bloodsoe or something
Yeah,
like that. But
that's right.
he was kind of a murderer. He was willing to murder a lot of toys.
He was.
So I mean, what's
Lotso hugging.
Lotso? Yeah.
Lotso. Yep.
So yeah, so we see that there are some dicks, but Bonnie makes a new toy, and this toy's right off the bat something not right in the head.
No.
little soft, little something
a little
going
dense.
on. He ain't right.
No.
That's what they would have said back in the day. They would just he ain't
ain't
right.
right.
That boy ain't right.
You know that Forky guy, that Forky kid, he just ain't right.
He ain't right. He ain't no toy. He ain't no real toy. But yeah. And she loves Forky. That's the new go-to toy. She puts him in the backpack with Woody, going home because first day of kindergarten wasn't that bad.
Yeah. The most important thing though is she wrote Bonnie on the bottom of
Which
his
is a big
feet.
deal.
Yeah, it's a very big deal because
in the-
that's how you
In the
come to
toy
life.
world, if you got names on the bottom of your feet, you're the fucking toy, I guess.
And you get a consciousness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's not how all, because they're all alive before that. I mean, they're all
Well, I
alive
mean,
like in
yeah.
the package. But that's how.
Maybe,
That's
though.
how.
Because
But
it would have been trash otherwise. I think it's a little bit different with toys. If you buy a toy, yeah, it's already got the consciousness of a toy.
Mhm.
But if you're trash becoming a toy, I think the only way that'll happen is when she puts her name on the toy. I think is what creates consciousness.
I
And
think.
this is all theories, obviously.
Yeah, I
but-
think it signified that he was just a really important toy. Because earlier on they say, "Oh, you got the name on the feet." Because remember, like the dolly eventually
Mhm.
says "Gabby, Gabby." She's like, "Oh, you're a big deal," and she starts taking care of him and whatnot. Because the name on the feet means. Because I mean, I'm guessing put your name on every toy's foot.
No. I one time
Because
in my life,
Andy was the important one. Because Andy got his name on Woody's foot, and then Bonnie put her name on Woody's foot after Andy, which is a
She did.
big deal, right? So
Well, we saw that in the very beginning of 4 too, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. It showed that Woody had his, Bonnie's name now.
Mhm.
So yeah, and Woody thinks that he's just trash and whatnot, and then he comes alive. Woody's shocked. He's a bit surprised. And Woody introduces Forky to the rest of the toys. Immediately, they don't not down Forky.
Not a fan of this
To be
guy.
honest, he's probably a little creepy.
Very creepy. I mean, all he's saying is, "I am trash."
Yeah,
trash.
he loves trash, and I did
some
not
funny
know
jokes,
that.
though. It was. Really
I had no
funny.
idea that he was going to. They're gonna do that with him. But yeah, I thought it was hilarious. He just thought he was trash.
Right, and trash is a common word these days. Where bro, you're trash.
Yeah.
But they were using that in the context of making jokes. So he's like, "I'm trash."
And I also thought it was the whole kind of thing where it's like, you're not really trash, and no one's really trash, and whatever. And it's supposed to be like you're more than just where you came from or whatever. Immediately, I thought that was and that is kind of what they're going for, because he wasn't really. I mean, he was trash, but then he was made to be something more, and he was a toy and loved by Bonnie. But yeah, he thought he was just a piece of shit.
Yeah, he was having an
He had
existential
zero-
crisis. Is what he was having.
He has no confidence at all.
Zero.
He thinks he belongs in the trash, and even though Bonnie is loving him, and still he hates Bonnie right off the bat. Not a fan.
No,
Loves
he's
that
not.
trash.
He does love the trash. And gosh, that scene. We're jumping just a tiny bit, but that scene was one of the times in the theater that I laughed pretty hard. Was when Bonnie takes Forky to go sleep. And Woody has got to be right next to the bed in the garbage can. Keep throwing him back
throwing
up.
it up
He goes,
constantly.
trash. And you get Forky wobbling over, jumps into the trash. Woody throws him back up. Trash. Jumps back down.
And then we get
So
another emotional scene right during that when she grabs Woody and thinks that it's
yeah.
Forky, and it's like
Yep.
you can just tell.
She snuggles up to him, and he really
Yep.
appreciates
And
that.
as soon as it happens, you just get the feeling like, oh, this is one of his last.
This is the last time.
This is probably the last time he'll ever be embraced
Someone's
like that.
toy.
Yeah,
A child's
embraced like that.
toy.
Immediately, and then immediately you start feeling like shit again. You
So
start.
they got a good job of making you laugh, feel good, and then they just
Yeah,
turn it on
exactly.
you,
Which is
flip you on your head.
which is
180.
what I mean, it's what I like. It's the power of
It's good
It's the power of
storytelling.
storytelling, man. And them that can be able to do that balance that we talk about all the time, go back and forth, and especially again with a kids movie, to have this much emotion is
It's pretty special.
oh, for sure, absolutely. But yeah, so Forky, he hates it. He wants to go in the trash. Eventually, Bonnie and his family, we get a little road trip action, hitting up the RV, hitting up the road before Bonnie starts kindergarten, right? So they're going on a road trip. Bonnie's gathering all her toys, and she's gathered Forky, still believing himself to be trashed. And at first, that's all he can say, because he's got to learn words, because he's semi-mentally handicapped. I think at the start, I think that was.
I don't think he knows too many words.
I think that was what they were getting at. But yeah, still thinks. And so Woody makes it his job though to prevent Forky from becoming trash. So that's his whole
His mission.
His whole
Because he
mission.
understands how much Forky means to Bonnie.
Exactly, and
Even
he's
though it's stupid to everyone else, it's important to her.
yeah, because Woody's always the only one that gets it.
Mhm.
I mean, he's the only one that can figure out how important a really good toy is to a girl. And it made kindergarten super easy too. Without Forky, she
A
would
lot
have been that weird kid that no one wants to play with. But yeah, so they're hitting the road, and Woody, he's protecting Forky. He's very suicidal, constantly on this road trip. He's just trying to kill himself.
Extremely suicidal.
I mean, every time you turn around, he's trying
He's trying to kill
destroy
himself somehow.
Yeah, which is it's a tough job to be constantly running around preventing someone that does not want to live, because he really just wants to be trash, and he. Eventually, Woody convinces Forky of the joy of being a toy. And, or eventually, we got to Forky jumps out the window.
Yeah, he jumps out of the window of the RV.
Yeah, he just starts.
He's like, then he brought something about litter up, which was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, as he's going, he's like, I'll be litter.
Yeah, and,
flies out of the window.
I thought Forky, just from the trailers, was going to get annoying for sure, but he was hilarious.
It was fun.
He was the comic.
He wasn't
relief.
overused.
No, absolutely
was
not.
just
He wasn't.
enough
He wasn't
for-
dumb, like annoying dumb, where that's just his character, as he's just there to be dumb, say dumb things. He wasn't at all. He said, he was a little slow, but it was always funny. And then he always said those simple questions that were like always really emotional or whatever, because he always just says whatever he was thinking. And
but that's good because like Forky's obviously not the main character here; it's Woody. But those simple questions were kind of a step for Woody to be able to express himself, so we care more. So we understand the story, and it's again we go back to it, but it's really good writing.
And it's we're the point, and it's like it's essentially like we're Forky. Like he's the audience, and we're finally getting, or he's explaining to us what it means to be a toy and everything, and how, because he explains to Forky about everything, his entire journey. They walk, because Woody jumps out the window for Forky,
with him.
and,
or not with him, but right after him.
Yeah, and I love the scene later on where they're talking about toys just jumping out the window left and right, because Buzz just goes flying out the window too.
Oh yeah, later on in the film.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
And I like, because earlier on this we got to talk about, because Buzz and Woody kind of have their first little exchange while they're on the RV, and Woody kind of talks to him about conscious and that voice inside, and then Buzz takes it literal and thinks it's his voice box. That's I love it too. Yeah,
it was awesome. That was awesome. See, that's why I've always liked Buzz, because it's like, it's simple humor, but it's humor that's funny. Like, because Buzz is so believable as just this guy who's just super naive.
Yeah.
He came right out of the box as Buzz Lightyear. He thinks he's the hero of the world. And even now that he knows he's just a toy, he's still just...
Yeah, he still struggles with the thought of just being a toy. And and he's not... I mean, he's not... He just takes everything very, very literal and whatnot.
That's
like very a soldier would, or something, like a Drax X character, where he takes everything very literal. But so they eventually walk all night. They reach town, and Woody spots. Oh, as they're walking into town, Woody spots Bo's lamp.
Yep.
From an
in the
antique
window
store.
from an antique store. Yeah.
And this antique store, we talk about how great the animation was.
Before we get to that, though, I got to talk about this. When they jumped out of the RV, this was a really funny moment too. When I love the way Forky walks.
Yeah.
Right? And Woody's grabs his hand. And he tried to drag him along, and he'd take a couple steps, and then he'd just fall and let Woody drag him. He's like, "Can't we just go back?" He's Woody just dragging him.
He doesn't know how to
along.
walk or anything at the start.
And then he'll like speed up.
Yeah,
and
eventually
nice
he does
and
actually
slow.
learn how
to
to
walk.
But he's not the best. He's not the best made toy. Let's be honest about that.
No, I mean that it had.
He doesn't
to
have
been
real
a
movable
challenge.
limbs. Where
Yeah.
Woody's got separate fingers and everything.
Yeah.
He barely, and we see that throughout the movie. He starts learning even how to like move his arms and stuff like that and grab stuff. But yeah, at the start, it's a tough run for him, and he's
Very tough.
Not the
He
best.
doesn't have a lot to work with.
No.
Let's be fair.
But yeah, so they reach the antique store, and Woody eventually goes in and drags Forky with him. And at this point, he convinces Forky that he's not only trash. Well, I like the way he convinces him that like Forky loves trash, he is Bonnie's trash, and that kind of gets him the idea that, because before that he can never register why anyone would care about her.
He couldn't make the connection.
Yeah,
with
eventually he says he's Bonnie's trash, which is just cute, I guess. But
yeah, very cute.
yeah, they go to the antique store because Woody wants to find Bo, of course, his old love interest, and it's been a while since Woody has seen Bo. Years.
7 years.
7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's a long time.
Very long time. Not to see your gal.
No,
Who else
your
is she
old
running
squeeze.
around with? 7 years. And she's the lost toy on top of that.
Oh
so
yeah, she's been around.
She's met a few
been
drifters.
around. She's been
along
in
the
that
way.
sandbox.
Yeah.
Taking on those commandos.
G.I. Joe looking dudes.
Well, she was with old Duke Boom for a little while, old Canuck with all the
old
luck.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, we'll get into that. I fucking loved Duke of Boom. I love Keanu. Of course, everyone loves Keanu Reeves. Yeah. But yeah, so they go into the antique store, and Forky encounters a doll named Gabby. And her psychopathic. I don't know if you'd call them psychopaths, but there's not a lot going on with these Benson dolls.
No, not anymore. And
I don't think there ever was. I don't even think when they were in their prime, there's a lot. They were always used to someone else, controlling them, and that's what I thought that was kind of it was smart to make them adventurous dolls, because they're always used to being controlled, literally with a person up their ass. With their hand. And now they're being controlled by Gabby. They can only think if someone else is controlling them. which was kind of the whole point I got with them. But yeah, Gabby pops up. She's kind of creepy. She's an old, like, 1950s, like, one of those first dolls that can talk to you, which was and then
Still with a pull string too.
still with a bowstring, yeah. And then she had Benson's, which were a few different ventriloquist dummies that were all the same dummy. They were just dressed, and they walked so fucking creepy
They
and
do,
weird.
very creepy.
They have, like, their arms don't move at all.
Yeah,
So it's just, like,
it's just shoulders. It's just you're swinging your shoulders back and forth.
and then their jaw just, like, goes unhinged, and it
looks like it's always a
funny though.
broken
Yeah,
jaw.
it is very funny. Every time I saw them, they're so creepy. I laugh because when I can tell, because imagine seeing them when you're a kid. When you're a kid, that's actually gonna be creepy. Like that fucking doll in Sid's room creeped the shit out of me when I saw it.
Yes.
I can imagine this having the same impact to kids,
And
which
you
is
know
good
what's
because
funny
you
is,
gotta
like,
scar them.
Everyone's like, man, this Toy Story, there were some creepy moments, but they do that.
Oh yeah,
It kind of just pays to the original too, because I mean, there were really creepy moments in the original Toy Story.
Yeah.
You know, when you go to Sid's room and all those toys are concocted together, and you're like, what the fuck is this? Like the doll head and the spider legs.
Oh
and
yeah, man,
it's creepy.
That's the
dude.
one. That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. Yeah, and it just shows you that it's not just these movies aren't just kids movies. They have an overarching story that everyone can relate to.
Everyone
I
can
mean,
relate
every
to and
single one,
appreciate,
every
too.
single one of them. I mean, Toy Story 2 is kind of about loss and redemption and whatnot. Every single one of them has a story. You don't have to be a little kid to enjoy these movies because every one of them, you're not gonna want. I mean, I think you could take a baby boomer, one of those old timers, and sit him down, probably turn the volume way up.
Way
'cause the hearing is not
At
great
least to
anymore.
100.
But I mean, they're gonna get something out of it. It's good. It's a story for everyone. That's what. I mean, that's why there's 4 of them. Because people. I mean, it's not just kids seeing these.
No.
You might be making the excuse to take your kids, but adults.
deep down,
adults are the ones
don't lie
crying.
to yourself.
Adults are the ones crying.
Don't lie
at
to
the
yourself.
end. Yeah,
it's you.
for sure.
That's who wants to go see this. Not your kids. You
No.
want to see it.
That guy with the baby. That baby
Yeah, you
wasn't
think
there.
the
to
baby was, yeah. Like, Daddy, I want to go see Toy Story 4.
No.
Doesn't work that way.
Doesn't work out. He wanted to see it. But yeah, so Gabby, kind of creepy. She's very nice. Again, gave me the Lutzo feel because Lutzo was very nice. And that kind of made me worried. I'm like, is she going to be the same exact villain of Lutzo, just a little different? Luckily, it turns out wasn't the case. She offers to take them to Bo, but soon reveals that the true plan is to obtain Woody's voice box. Because Gabby's voice box, fucking broken.
And those dummies were very pushy during that time too, trying to reach and pull his voice box.
Again,
and stuff.
creepy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
super
with
creepy.
them just reaching their hands.
And then it started with 1, then it turned into 2, then it turned into 4.
The
as
way
they're walking
that
with
part
the
was
carriage.
really good when they're walking the carriage and they all just start coming out of the shadows. I couldn't help but laugh. I only laughed though because of how creepy it was. I mean, it would have been creepy as like in a horror movie esque. It's
Yes.
creepy way. So they start walking. And eventually, they figure out that Gabby's not so nice, and she's kind of a bitch to be honest with you. And she really just wants that voice box because she believes that she's been in this antique store for so long that the only reason no one's played with her is because she's
She doesn't
broken.
have a voice.
She's malfunctioned.
Yeah, and she was malfunctioned since the time she was taken out of the package.
right out of the box.
It's never worked.
Which was the 50s. So you got to think she's been sitting on a shelf probably for 60 years.
Right.
And she
probably is deteriorating
and she's never-
psychologically too because
Oh,
she's
yeah.
never been played with, and that's her one objective as a toy.
Well,
is
that's
to be
every
played with.
that's every toy's objective. So if you're broken right out of the box, I mean, there's not really much use for you as a toy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole reason. And that's why it's clear and everything. The only joy these toys gets are when they are being played with with
And
children.
the biggest honor for a toy is to be someone's toy.
to
Not
have
to
a
be
kid.
to have a kid. To not be a lost toy.
So Gabby reveals, she reveals pretty much her backstory. How she's broken, no child would want her or anything like that. And she says she wants this toy box, and she's willing to tear it out of Woody. And Woody's not down with that, really. No. He's not a big fan of it.
And he tries to find the first sign for him to escape, and he does.
Yeah, but fucking Forky. Forky's always getting caught by the goddamn Bensons.
No, he always.
Always he turns around, and Forky, of course, he's oblivious. He's got no idea what's going on. And Benson's always... Bensons are quick, too.
They are. They're fast. They'll snatch you up faster than you know.
Do not want those things chasing
You do not.
But and eventually, Bonnie and her parents enter the store, and Woody and Forky try to escape, but Forky's captured by Gabby, like we talked about. And by the time Woody escapes the shop, Bonnie's RV has left without him. And so Woody leaves the shop without Forky, bails on his ass.
Yep.
Their whole plan was to meet back at the RV because Woody knew where they were going prior, and the RV is about to go, and Bonnie's kind of freaking out because she can't find Forky, and eventually Jesse pops the tire.
I know. Jeez.
I know.
This toy's costing these people a lot of money. I was kind of like, at the same time, I'm like, man, that was a little. I don't know if I'd go to those extremes to where your toys are now slashing your tires.
Yeah, if they can slash a tire, they can probably slash a throat. They're probably
And
very
that's where we
capable.
get Chucky.
They're
That's
probably
where we
very
get Child's
capable.
Play.
And I liked the joke that they kept going back to because it's Jeff Garland who plays Buttercup, the unicorn toy.
Oh,
and
the
he
unicorn, yeah.
kept bringing up how he wanted to frame his dad and put him in jail. That was his go-to plan, was that he was going to frame Bonnie's
the
dad.
yeah.
Which you gotta think, man, these toys are more than capable of doing that.
Oh, well, who's going to believe your defense?
I know,
The
man.
toys
They
did
could do
it.
anything. These toys could run the world if they wanted to. How
They
easy
just
would
want
it
to play with kids.
How
That's
easy
it.
would it be for a toy to go get? Wander into a nuclear launch site? You know, Woody can sneak into any place.
Yeah,
We've seen him
it'd be
time
too
and time.
easy. Yeah.
So it's possible, man. I want Toy Story 5 to be a little more real and show us a little more of that, a little more of these toys being, maybe a little more Child's Play-esque. So Woody escapes, or they pop the tire with the RV, and eventually, though, Woody goes back. Or what does Woody try to do? How does he go and find? Because eventually he goes and finds Bo Peep at the.
No, Bo Peep finds him.
Oh yeah. Oh, or Holly, the owner, the antique, the lady who owns antique store. She comes in. She takes Woody. I forgot about that. Remember?
Yeah, because Woody was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She takes him to the park, and Woody escapes right after, or when
Her name
Holly.
was Harmony.
Harmony,
The
that's
little
right.
girl.
Yeah, Harmony.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then she's like pushing him on the swing set, and I love that. She's like, "I'll be right back."
I know.
And
These
then as
fucking
soon
guys.
and I love how the swing goes out of frame, and
Yeah.
it comes back, and Woody's gone out of the
Tell you,
swing
man,
already.
he's so quick.
Very quick.
Crafty, very crafty.
Crafty
He can
dude.
get anywhere.
I know, imagine just putting tense music behind that instead of like this lighthearted Disney movie. You'd get a horror film, you know?
It'd be like Toys or Small Soldiers. Remember
Mhm.
Small Soldiers?
Small Soldiers. Yeah, that
Small
was like one of the
Soldiers is so
first
good.
PG-13 Disney movies too.
Small Soldiers is awesome. I
Great
love it.
film.
It still holds up. I go
It
back and
does.
watch it every once
It
in a
does.
while.
On VHS.
But that's. Oh, I remember. I still got that one of those thick. Remember the VHS?
They were super thick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, white inside too,
White,
right?
yeah. They always got squished down and always made that really shitty noise when you open them. But yeah, so he escapes and eventually he goes and it's a playground and he meets up with Bo, and she's got this whole kind of new look. She's an independent woman. She's been on her
She
own.
is.
She don't need no kid. She don't need
no
no
one.
man
She don't
either.
need no man either. No. She know what-
No one's tying that lady down for sure. Strong female
and
character.
she's been doing this for she's been a lost toy for 7 years now. She seems pretty damn happy.
Not even
I gotta
that, but
say.
she's made of porcelain. So she's very breakable.
Very fragile.
So for her to be jumping around, and I mean, it's
quite impressive.
porcelain does not last very long and doesn't make great children's toys as well. You can't do a lot of porcelain doll. But yeah,
Well, and that was a joke they made later on in this that I really liked. I thought it was hilarious when she goes after they wrecked that car.
yeah.
And she goes to give Woody help.
I thought
up.
it was
That was
hilarious because
awesome.
you could
He's
tell
like,
it
"Oh my God."
scarred Woody. Yeah, like it fucked Woody up.
She's like, "No, I'm just kidding. It happens all the time."
I love their the Woody and Bo relationship. I
Mhm.
mean, it's great. It's even though they're
God,
they're little toys, it's still. I mean, you have a hard time not caring for it.
What crazy character development for Bo Peep though. I mean,
I
you
know.
go to look from
A
one
dark kind of
to
yeah,
now.
I know.
Yeah, it's
And
just-
let me tell you, Bo Peep's scenes were the most emotional. Almost every time she's on screen, it's
Totally.
something fucking heartbreaking. Because just the journey that she must have went through, where she went, she thought she was getting a new kid, and then she sat on the shelf of the antique store, eventually just going kind of crazy and breaking out of there on her own, going rogue. She's a lost toy, and if you're a lost toy in this world, it means like you got no use.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no real point for you because
but
every
kinda
time.
her mission though was kind of helping other toys.
Oh yeah, other
Helping
lost
other
toys.
toys
Yeah.
find toys, you know, like those soldiers. They're like, oh, we're gonna go down to the sand pits.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Well, it's kind of a thing where it's like if you're a lost toy in like the toy universe, you're kind of like a leopard. You know, you're like shunned by the rest of the toy world. Because a lost toy means you have no one. Because every time they bring it up, even in the movie, they bring up like lost toy. Everyone like gasps. Like, oh, they
like
can't
it's the
believe
worst
it. Yeah,
thing that
yeah,
can happen
exactly, yeah.
in their civilization.
But so and eventually Buzz listens to the voice in his head. Really, it's just the voice box playing on his chest, and he goes out and he finds Woody, and
does.
he's got a good run with the voice box because
It's
everything it tells him to do, it's
right on the
right.
money.
It's the right choice, and he listens to Woody. Woody says, "Listen to the voice in your head," and Woody is still determined to find Forky, right? Oh, we gotta talk about Buzz though. Buzz's whole scene, he goes through and he eventually goes to the carnival and he finds the two stuffed animals.
yeah, Ducky and
Bunny.
Bunny.
Yeah, who are played by
Key
Keegan
and
Michael
Peele.
Peele. Yeah, Key
Yeah.
and Peele, which they did great. They killed it.
It was funny. It was really funny.
The scene with them going through their ideas about the old lady. Obviously, I saw it coming because they were talking about it in the movie, but how they kept going with it, I thought it was hilarious. I
And
thought it
it's
was really
so
funny.
And they did it a little bit different because they did the rule of thirds, but then the fourth one was completely different than all of them, and that's what sold the whole.
It just
entire
seemed like a
joke.
very Key and Peele esque like sketch. Like they
Mm-hmm.
might have even like wrote those scenes for. I mean, like they
I
might have had a
guarantee
fan,
they
yeah.
did. Well, let's put it this way: I wouldn't be shocked if they did.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they knew that they were gonna be those characters and they came in and asked like, well, what do you think your characters would do?
Mm-hmm.
And they had this funny story about them attacking that old lady 3 times, and the last one was great with like
It was.
the long con of them following her. She's like has wine in the bathtub.
Yeah, in the bathtub, the wine,
And then they come out of their
everything.
shadows like Halloween. It's so funny. Yeah. And then I love they cut out and we just hear screams like they just fucking murdered her or something. Yeah.
And then finally, when they're like, "Oh, we got the key," and they're like, "Yeah, it was really hard to get it." And then they do the cut
I
too.
know, I
and it's
laugh.
just like, "How are we gonna get the keys?"
Yeah.
And then the old lady just sets it
And
right
that
there
was
in front of
the
them.
points like that. I love the points was when I could hear you. I mean, it was the adults laughing more than the kids, like especially with the key part and them
They were laughing
attacking her.
hard too. At least my theater was.
Yeah,
My
same,
theater
like-
was packed, but
like
people
my
thought it was funny.
The adults in my theater were laughing really hard, especially when they're explaining them and it's following the old lady out and everything. It's people were laughing at really hard, and the key part too with the whole plan. They were there sitting forever and explaining how long it's going to take to get that key. She just throws it out.
It's literally just right there in that dish, right next to him.
Very anticlimactic, but I like it. Smart and
But
funny.
that's what
Pixar.
sold the entire joke.
Oh yeah, absolutely for sure.
Is how subtle. it
How
was.
easy it was.
Yeah,
and
how
like,
easy and subtle it
yeah.
was. Yeah.
But yeah, so Buzz, he's searching or he seeks guidance by the voice inside his head. Buzz again, he finds the two Ducky and Bunny, and Buzz tries to get Ducky and Bunny to help him out to escape, and Bunny and Ducky are messing with him. I like that part where they kept kicking him in the head.
Uh-huh.
And the part when he's like, you know, I can't do it without you. It's like embarrassed him and everything. But
I know they're like, you're not gonna take our top shelf position.
yeah, because they're worried because they're just trying to get a kid. Of course, that's what every toy is doing. And yeah, eventually they both escape though, or Buzz escape and Ducky and Bunny escape after him because
Yeah,
they want
just kinda follow him.
revenge because they knocked him off the top spot. And yeah, and they beat the crap out of Buzz.
And that was an
they
awesome
jump
moment
him.
how Buzz got captured too. That big long thing where he's like, "I'm Buzz Lightyear to infinity and beyond," and he shoots out into the what is that thing?
The
It's like the
carousel.
octopus kind of thing.
Oh yeah. It
and
is
then he
octopus.
gets
Yeah.
flung into something else, and then he lands right in front of the porta potties, and it looked really cool when he was rolling, and then he flipped his wings out, and he's like standing there all like heroic.
Yeah, it
and
looked
boom,
awesome. Yeah, and then he lands right in front of the carny.
Yeah,
the guy
because he
is like,
opens the door, hits
the guy.
him.
I am almost positive was voiced by Bill Hader. I mean, he had such a small scene, but I'm almost positive that guy was voiced by Bill Hader. It had to have been. He sounded super familiar. But yeah, and then eventually, I like that scene a lot too, where he picks him up and puts him back on the car.
It was the carny was voiced by Bill Hader.
See, yeah, I just
Yes.
heard for there. I wasn't sure. I didn't look that up either. Yeah, I told you, I got a keen ear.
Very
for
impressive
this,
because I did not pick that up myself.
He
And I love Bill
He
Hader.
literally only says two. I think he says 2 words, and he also, when he turns around, he has a the rocket pizza tattoo from the other ones on
That's dope.
his calf. Yeah.
Planet Pizza.
Planet Pizza, that's what I meant, yeah. But yeah, so Buzz recruits Ducky and Bunny to help rescue Forky, promising that Bonnie will
Make
adopt
them
him.
their toys.
Of course,
or
just
their
doing,
kid.
just spreading these lies, telling him whatever he needs.
He
to
don't
hear.
know.
No,
But you know, he's
Bonnie
gotta
can
get
fucking
help. He's gotta
hate
get
those
help.
toys.
He
Bonnie
does.
probably will. She's kind of a weird girl. She likes her best friend is a spork that she found in the trash. It's never a good
oddest
thing if your
thing,
kid is
no.
playing with trash.
Not
I
a
mean,
good start. But it makes for, as you said earlier with Andy, it makes for a cheap Christmas. So
yeah, you can just get her a box full of sporks.
just get her some basic arts and crafts.
Yeah.
Let her make her own toys.
Exactly. And Bo also introduces Woody, because Bo and Woody have a very nice scene because Woody's obviously surprised about seeing Bo, and they have a very good scene of them being reconciled or being back together. And Bo introduces her to her gang, and the sheep are still there, and that we got a new character, the little pocket policewoman.
Yeah.
What was her? I can't remember her name.
I do not remember that character's name.
But she was in it quite a bit.
She was in it a lot.
Oh, I did not know Christina Hendrickson from Mad Men played Gabby Gabby.
Yes.
Man,
the,
she's one of my
the beautiful
favorite.
redhead.
Oh yeah, dude, look at her.
Yes.
She's
Oh,
just
there she is. Yeah.
unbelievable.
Great
One
actress.
of my favorites.
Yeah. She's done a lot of stuff recently too.
She's good. She's got a good kind of scary, very proper 1950s voice. You know, they took it right
Well,
out
look
of
at
Mad Men. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had her play a 50s doll too. Very interesting. At the antique store, the toys are planning to rescue Forky, and we also get introduced to they go back into the antique store, and Bo takes them to the kind of the nightclub thing, the gumball machine or whatever it was, and that's when we get introduced to the Canuck, the man with all the luck.
Yes.
Old Keanu Reeves and his character, or Duke Kaboom, the
Kaboom, the
best,
Canadian,
the
too.
best Canadian stuntman, and it was obviously kind of like a knockoff Evel Knievel kind
Totally.
of.
Yeah, and that's why
thing.
they did Canadian
But
too, which was
I
awesome.
laughed every time when they went back to his story about what was his kid's name? It was something French, like
Yeah, it was
Renee
French,
or
yeah.
so, and he kept seeing his face.
And I love the whole commercial thing where he's like giving this really sad story about how he bought him thinking that he was going to launch as far as the
It
commercial.
was so.
But you know what? To bring that up, it's actually, it goes perfect to what industry actually does, because they do that in commercials. That's why I appreciated what they did here in Toy Story. They do that shit all the time. When I was a kid, you'd watch those commercials for toys. You'd be like, this is the coolest thing ever. But you'd see on the very bottom, may not dramatic effects for commercial.
Well,
And then you'd buy the toy, and the toy would only go 5 feet instead of the 200 feet you'd lie and show kids on TV.
Well, they did that almost exactly mirroring. Evel Knievel was. They made it a toy of Evel Knievel in his heyday, and it did the exact same. It had the wind up.
He had a toy too? Evel Knievel?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, so it was a knockoff of his.
It was an
literal
exact
toy.
knockoff because his. I could show you the trailer of it, and because in the trailer it shows him doing all kinds of crazy shit. He's jumping over the fucking Grand Canyon and shit. It's doing the exact same thing. Yeah, and it's a 100% knockoff of that Evel Knievel toy because it's showing him do the exact same thing. Yeah, and it's no, those toys suck. They can't jump a fucking bus with a toy. What are you thinking, kid?
No,
and I love that Keanu kept going back and like he kept saying it's a commercial. They're never right. They're always, or toys and commercials are never what they seem. He kept bringing it up because he was hurt by old Renee or whatever the kid's name is. I can't remember. It was so funny though.
And since we're talking about Duke Kaboom, did you think the poses were really funny? The way that Duke Kaboom kept like posing on his bike?
That was hilarious.
Well, that was Keanu Reeves' idea.
Oh yeah, I did.
He
I did hear
went
about
to Pixar
that.
to talk to him about that, and they actually embraced the idea and really liked it.
Oh yeah, I thought it was super funny. Yeah,
it was funny, dude. Even the one where I got a few adults who were like, "Whoa!" when he did the one, his legs up in the air and he's like grabbing them. I was like, "Okay."
And he keeps going, dude. I know he does like the spread eagle, and he does all of them. Yeah, I thought all of his scenes were hilarious.
Did you catch the little Easter egg though we're gonna go back a little bit. Did you catch the Easter egg in the kindergarten class?
In the kindergarten class?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
You can just faintly see Boo.
Boo,
from
from Monsters Inc. Yeah, she was in the class. Yeah, I did catch that. I'm sure there was one of many Easter eggs
that you will go back and find.
Yeah. Their Pixar loves sprinkling their other movies in every other movie. It's good advertising.
It's cool. I like it.
You can always
There's a lot of callbacks, even small ones.
But so they go and they try to rescue Forky, and their plan fails, and Bo's sheep gets captured by Benson, and Woody's still the only one determined to save Forky. And at this point, it's getting crazy, right?
It is.
I mean, everyone, all the toys are kind of all agreeing that Woody, you're putting us all in danger here.
You're kind of going, a little over the line.
And no one can understand it. I mean, they're all struggling to figure out why Woody would be so...
why it means so much to him.
Yeah, they're all like, this guy.
Well, and doesn't like Buzz or someone comes up to him and be like, hey, man, toys get lost all the time. Like, relax. This happens. We don't have to go and get Forky.
Yeah.
But he didn't care.
And why did he not care?
Because he's a good toy. He's a good person. He wanted to do right by Bonnie. Even though Bonnie doesn't give a shit about him.
And he says that's all he has left.
That's all he has left.
He says in a big breaking moment, he says this is his last mission. This is his retirement. They're sending him off after this. Or he knows that this is the last important thing he's ever going to do. Mm-hmm. So it's important to him. Obviously, he's got to accomplish the last. I mean, after this one, I think he knows that he's probably going to be put into retirement, put away, and never probably played with again.
Maybe get sent back to that furnace like in Toy Story 3.
Yeah, you don't want to wind up in there.
No, you don't.
Definitely
There's no
not.
coming back from that.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. But and eventually they all say, Woody, you're psycho. We can't do this anymore. And they all split up, right? They all eventually leave and let Woody go back into the store. Even Buzz, following his old voice.
Yeah, the voice keeps telling him, return to base. Return to mission.
And he kept
return to mission control. Go back to base.
Yeah.
He was like, okay.
And eventually he does. He goes back. He's quick too, man.
Yes, he is.
Goes right back to the RV, scares the shit out of all the other toys, jumps back into the window.
Jumps into the window, too.
Because at this point, Bonnie's dad has finally fixed the RV. It's taking him all goddamn day.
Yes.
Like, what a fucking,
What a trip.
These toys are ruining
into.
your life.
Yeah,
I know.
Especially later that night, too, on top of it.
I know.
He had a rough go-around at this fair.
These
I don't know
toys
how
are putting,
he kept his cool as much as he did.
I know my dad
I would have been irate. My dad would have been throwing things.
My dad would have been like, we're going home. Oh, yeah. my dad would have been...
My dad... Yeah.
If he stepped on a toy that was... When he was like mad, he would have just destroyed that goddamn toy.
No.
Oh, yeah. My dad would have been pissed. This dad is very understanding, though. It's a good dad.
Very good dad. Very patient dad.
Absolutely.
Very patient dad.
Yeah. But
and the parents in general are very patient, because if I made a toy fork and lost Forky, my parents would be like, okay, we'll make another one. And they do kind of say that, but like they take a lot of time with Bonnie, and they're like, yeah, we'll look for your fork, and we can't leave yet. And it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, I know.
Get out of there. She ain't going to know.
They're good parents, man.
Great parents.
They are good parents.
Very understanding
parents. I guess they're the architect of what you're supposed
You're
to be as a parent. I mean, I mean, our parents definitely not.
I can say my parents were not that patient.
Yeah, no, but
No.
these were very,
Yeah, but
very
yeah.
good parents. But yeah, well, they knew how important it was to her and everything. So
Right.
my dad, you're exactly right. My dad and mom have been like, it's a fork.
Get over it.
One, stop playing with trash. It's disgusting. You're gonna catch something. And yeah, and we buy you all these toys, and you're playing with a fork you found in the trash.
It's almost a slap in the face to your parents, you know.
We spend this hard-earned
hindsight.
money. We don't have a lot of money
No,
trying
we
to
don't.
do here. If
I try to give you the best life
yeah.
possible, and you're playing with trash. I smack you.
You gotta hate your kid at that point. But yeah, so Duke, Bo, and Ducky, and they all return to the carnival. They return to Bo's little skunk car, whatever it is.
That crashed underneath the carousel.
Yep.
Earlier. Yep.
Because that was like their meetup point and when shit hit the fan and whatnot. And but Woody gets recaptured by old Gabby in a very tense moment because Gabby like comes out and she's like, "Oh, I knew you'd be back."
Mm-hmm.
They always come back. Gabby's like, "It's surgery time."
Right before we talk, because this is a really funny moment I want to bring up. Remember the carousel scene when they're like, "Okay, don't go, go."
I know they get trapped, yeah.
And then they get hit immediately, and they're like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
They keep going around.
Key and Peele were so
God,
funny.
so
They had so
funny.
many good scenes in this, but yeah.
Anyway, Gabby.
Gabby, she gets Woody, and but then this is where it all goes where I didn't think it was gonna go. You know, Gabby actually says where I thought Gabby was just gonna be straight up evil, scary doll villain. She ends up telling Woody the entire story and whatnot, and earlier on, Gabby was talking to Forky, and Forky told Gabby everything about Woody, so she knew what Woody was going through and everything. So, Gabby tells Woody, like, what she needs and how to be a good toy and what she needs to actually be loved and how she's never had a moment with the kid. Like, Woody has had so many moments.
And that was a really good moment, too, because and that's something that Pixar and Toy Story does really good, is it gives you both perspectives. And you can understand why she felt the way that she felt. I mean, Gabby never got to get played. In the 60 years of her existence, she always sat on a shelf because of something out of her control.
Yeah.
You know?
And Woody understands that because Gabby knows that Woody's had a kid for so long, longer than most toys. Everyone knows that, or in this world, everyone knows that you don't have a kid for 18 years or whatever.
No,
it's a couple years at most. But yeah, and Gabby and Woody knows that he's been lucky, right? And he understands how bad it would feel if he never had Andy or anything. So he gives up the voice willingly.
Yeah, because he also knows it's his time too. Like, he's been able to enjoy years and years with Andy. He's got to enjoy the joys of having your own
For a
kid.
very long time, yeah, longer than most toys. So
Gabby
he's
has
lucky.
not.
No, Gabby hasn't had. She's had a rough run.
Very rough.
She's in pristine condition.
And man, that Harmony scene when she finally gets her due,
Brutal.
and Harmony looks at her and goes, "Eh,"
Yeah.
throws her away. I was like, "Oh, that's sad."
That's kids, though, man.
It is.
That's kids. You gotta, yeah.
It depends on the kid. Too.
It was
and
realistic.
that's- Again, it was realistic too.
And again, I think it was, not to sound like old people or whatever, but it never brings up in Toy Story. But now you think kids got to be playing with toys a lot less. I mean, with like phones and everything like that. So
yeah.
I'm gonna guess that maybe for a little girl, just a regular doll would not be that exciting. I mean, in the 1950s, little girl just happens upon Gabby. That's the newest doll century.
Oh, it's the newest trend. Yeah, it's
so-
a big deal. I mean,
so
dolls are
60
still
years
played
later-
with today, but not nearly
Yeah.
the capacity of.
And
the
Harmony
50s,
seemed like
60s.
seemed like a little old. Where later on, Gabby finds a younger girl
Mhm.
who was
Who's
seems
the
who
lost
would be
alone in the
much
fair.
who'd be much more
Carnival, whatever.
yeah, much more acceptable to a little doll than this Harmony was looked a little old
Mm-hmm.
for and we learn earlier on that Harmony, she's always taking toys and half the
From the
goddamn
antique-
toys from the antique store at the sandbox.
Yeah, and she didn't seem
How are they
too
making
shook
money?
up when Woody just disappeared. She's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, okay, grab another one from
Yeah.
the toy store."
Harmony's kind of a bitch. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna come out.
You
and
know
say
what?
It, dude.
She may grow up to be a CEO of a giant company.
She probably will.
Yep.
She probably just
Able
grow
to-
up to have like 4 kids and just complain to every manager. She'll probably be that kind of
Oh,
a
that's-
Karen.
It's
You
depressing.
know, with that haircut, they all have the
Uh-huh.
same short
Yep.
haircut. They always want to talk to your
They do.
manager. No matter what, they're going to talk to your manager. You see one of those lady roll up in your shop or whatever you got going on,
It doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter. They're going to be talking to your manager. But yeah, so Harmony, it doesn't work out for Gabby with Harmony. Harmony just throws Gabby out, even though she's got the new box. Benson, I guess, does surgery on Woody. Not the guy I'd want taken out my voice box.
Not my first choice. No.
But I guess he's got a steady hand. He did the surgery pretty well. It looked like a tight job. And Woody no longer has a voice box.
He conserves all of his arm energy. That's why you don't see him running with his. He only runs with his shoulders to conserve that those surgery
aerodynamic,
arms.
But yeah, it was this scene was a really good scene, though. I mean, Woody knew that there was not really much use for him to have the toy box anymore or the voice box anymore. No one was really going to use it, so
And
why not give it to someone else?
Yeah, and it was a good trade-off as well because he traded the voice box for Forky.
Yeah,
So he got Forky back as well.
he did.
And that was his main objective, his main goal the whole time.
Yeah. Shitty Gabby probably shouldn't have had Forky kidnapped in the first place.
No.
But I guess you're right. It is a good trade-off. It did end up being okay.
I know, isn't that weird? Because Gabby technically is the bad guy, but she's not really a bad guy.
No, she
In
was.
my opinion, she just wanted to be loved.
Fuck, dude.
we
I'm
sympathize with
sitting on a shelf for 70 years or whatever. I'm taking that chance too.
Yeah.
I'm running those odds. I'm kidnapping a guy. I'm kidnapping a cowboy. I'm taking his voice.
Well, because at that point, you can't sit around and go, yeah, life will eventually give me what I want. 70 years later, no, I'm going to take what I
You're an
want.
antique store.
Yeah.
No one's coming to an antique store to buy toys. I'm sorry.
No, never.
I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. And,
Unless there's some toy collector. That's the only way.
yeah, and Harmony is kind of creeped out by old Gabby in her creepy voice box, and she throws her away. Buzz returns to Bonnie's RV like we talked about, and but Woody confronts Gabby right before they leave, and they say, "Gabby, come on."
That was a sad scene, too. She's laying sideways, not even looking at Woody.
I know it's
like,
always
no
so
one loves
sad.
me. I'm
Just
like,
seeing a toy by
man.
on its own is just sad in general. I think.
It is.
Just, I mean, yeah, and her sitting in like the trash or that bin or whatever, and she's like, "Leave me alone, I'm trash." Shitty.
Very shitty.
Kids can be
Very
shitty.
shitty.
Kids can be shitty.
They can be.
But he confronts her, and they all leave together. She's got a little change of heart. Bo also has a change of heart. Bo had change of heart before this, because before this, that's when they went and grabbed Gabby. That's when they did the big jump.
Mhm.
And that's when we got the cat scene, too. We skipped over the cat scene.
We did.
Yeah.
And that was an awesome scene, too.
That was an awesome scene. Yeah, the cat chasing.
Duke
And I
Kaboom.
love, Duke Boom, and he can't do the jump because he sees fucking Rajan or what is his name right there. Oh, Rajan. And
Oh,
he's
no. Yeah, he's like screwing up the bike. Woody's like, no.
no, Rajan. He sees that little French kid's face. So funny.
He's like, I can't go far. Or I can't go fast.
Yeah, it's hilarious. And but that scene, the breakout scene was good. And that was the key scene too, where they got the key and they were like, how'd you get the key? It's like, it's super fucking difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah, and they're like shaking their head, like, yeah. They're like, well, good job.
Yeah, but so they get out of there, and Bonnie returns for her backpack, right? And the toys follow her and her parents, and through Duke's
And again,
motorcycle.
nothing's going right on this trip. Flat tires. Your child leaves their backpack at an antique store.
The dad starts the car. They're about to leave, and then the car starts driving on its own because these
Yeah.
toys are just in the motor, just
God
tearing up
dang it.
wires. Who knows what's gonna happen? I like the scene though. I like the scene of her doing the voice of the GPS.
Yeah, that was funny.
Telling him to
Yeah, the
turn right,
dinosaur.
yelling at him. Yeah, and the dad freaking out, not knowing what's going on. But yeah, so they eventually come back because Bonnie did leave her backpack, and but they're all trying to get back to the carousel after they leave the antique store. And Duke Kaboom, he gets a little redemption, gets another jump, and he fucking nails this one. Though.
He does.
He nails it. Well, he crashes, but that's his thing.
But that's what he's
That's
literally
Duke-a-boom.
built
He's the
to
greatest
do.
crasher.
Yeah, it's the
of all-
crash.
Yeah. And but they get back to Bo's. Well, Woody and them go in her backpack, right?
Mhm.
And then Bonnie gets Forky, and she's very happy. And they go back to the car, and the other toys they're all about to leave. aren't they? Or they're back at the carousel and whatever. That's also where Bonnie's parents are because the toys
That's where
drove the
RV
van
is.
into the
Yeah.
carnival.
And the
Again,
cops pretty
dangerous.
cool about the whole thing. Just
well, they came pretty pissed, and I
Yeah.
could see why. Yeah, it's not a
man.
in this day and
the worst
age.
rental of all time too. Yeah, in this day and age, someone's driving through a carnival. My first thought is, oh, that's not a family
You gotta
friendly
shoot this
guy.
You
gotta
gotta
shoot
put this
him,
guy
yeah.
down.
Yeah, it's like Harambe. You got to make a choice. You got to make it fast.
Lucky that he didn't. Yeah. Oh, and Gabby sees a little lost girl crying. Again, this was a very emotional scene.
Very.
That little sad girl, and Gabby's lost. The little sad girl's lost.
Makes for a perfect.
You gotta be lost together, right? And Gabby, she's very nervous right before she goes and see the girl. That was a kind of cute scene, a nice scene, but
especially from going to the quote unquote villain to being, very what's the word I'm looking for? Self-conscious.
yeah. And so Gabby, she's finally adopted. It's a nice scene, and Woody and Bo say goodbye. They're on top of the Ferris wheel. Again, the whole carnival was awesome. And like the animation wise, amazing.
It looked great.
Especially at night. At night, it looked awesome.
With all the lights and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And and Woody and Bo are about to say goodbye, and Woody becomes hesitant returning with Bonnie, and with some encouragement from Buzz.
That was a great moment.
Woody stays with Bo and becomes a lost toy forever. But is he really lost?
No, he's found his purpose.
Buzz,
his new purpose.
Buzz said he's not lost.
You're not lost.
No.
Yeah.
It was amazing ending. It was amazing for
amazing.
Buzz to say goodbye to his best friend and that he's never going to see again. Ever. Unless he just, what are the odds of? I mean, these toys do run into each other a lot.
It does happen more frequently
It does happen
than
quite a bit.
I would assume, but...
But yeah, a very emotional ending, and I love how the very ending when Woody and Buzz are talking, and then Buzz is like, "She'll be fine," and everyone's thinking he's talking about Bo's gonna be fine, but
he was
he's
talking about Bonnie.
Oh no,
that was the best moment between them too.
that's when the waterworks came. People were just
People were bawling, and I'm not over exaggerating. There, people were crying in that theater.
Yeah,
like really crying, like sobbing.
Had I not lost my tear ducts in the war, I would have been able to maybe just squirt a little tear out.
Are you referring to the last Call of Duty game you played?
Yeah, I cried way too much during that game.
I get it.
Those
hey,
kids
when you
are
lose,
mean.
it gets
Those
emotional.
kids are mean.
They're mean.
Those little kids are mean.
They call you a fucking loser.
They'll call you
Come
some
on,
racials.
Man. They
They'll
call you a
drop
lot
the
of
racial slurs.
They do.
Quite a bit for a 12-year-old. I mean,
think
I
it would
learned more things on playing Call of Duty. It's more words.
There's got to be a technology out there where you hear words like that and you're able to mute them in real time.
Well, you can on most
online
games.
Yeah, I figure you could.
You can mute anyone, yeah.
No, you can mute people, but I mean like even them saying that. But I guess, you just mute people.
And you can report people also.
They report people all the time on those platforms now.
Oh, yeah.
You can't say anything.
No, you can't. It's a lot.
You can't even say like shit or fuck because some of them will report you for that.
I cuss all the time. But saying like, remember in Call of Duties when you'd kill someone and they would just drop hard R.
Yeah, all the time.
A lot of gay slurs. Like now, because I do play some online games still, and you do not hear any of that now because they will.
It's much more regulated.
Well, they'll ban your they'll ban your account. Back then, it was a fucking Wild West.
It was.
You could say anything on there. Oh man, those are the good days. The good days of Xbox, where anything flew. But yeah. And that's the end. That's the end of Toy Story. That is. Did you stay for the credit scenes?
I did not.
I did not either.
I was rather in a hurry to get out of there. Not because I didn't enjoy the film. Just I need to get to bed.
Well, I'll tell you about the mid-credit scene. Mid-credit scene, Woody and Bo are traveling with Carnival, helping toys get adopted with Giggly. Oh, see, I didn't know that. See, that's awesome. Now they're like living out their lives, helping other toys.
Yeah. Woody and Bo Peep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, they help toys. It's kind of like a foster home for toys.
That's awesome.
Until they find a new home.
Soon 1 year has passed, and Bonnie has entered first grade. Jessie brings home a new friend. Bonnie created Knifey, a decorated plastic knife. I did not see this. Instantly spent, Forky offers to shepherd her in the journey through life and toy instead of trash. When her first question is, "How am I alive?" He's stumped.
Could you imagine Forky just looking blankly? Forky had a lot of
runs
good
back to the
moments,
trash
too.
can.
Like that one where
He
he's like
did, he
saying
had a-
something super emotional, and then his eyeball just it just drops down. Really good comedic moments.
He was definitely the comedic relief,
And
but
not
again, not
overused.
overused. Yeah,
Yeah.
And not to where it was annoying at all. It was very.
and that's what I was a little just slightly concerned with.
Oh, yeah, so was I,
beforehand, 'cause I
yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
that could get annoying really fast.
Definitely, but not at all.
It ended up being
the
hilarious.
part where they
throughout
had
the movie.
Forky like lock the door at the
Mhm.
end, and
That
then they're all
was
super
awesome,
emotional. They
yeah.
turn around and Forky's right there, and he's like super like hugging him too. And he's like, "Wait a second," but he was. So yeah, it was good. It was really good.
It really was, and like I laughed throughout this movie more than I thought I would. Like this movie was really funny, and it's obviously G-rated humor, which is way harder to do.
Yeah,
Than have dirty comedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like to do a movie like Good Boys or something, but like with Toy
but it
Story,
shows you that it is possible. I mean,
It is.
It is. Comedy to me is funnier a lot more when it is more crass and tongue in cheek. I kind of like that, but I mean, you could do comedy. This was hilarious. I mean, Pixar has always been very funny, you know, and just like in Avengers movies or whatever, they can be funny and without being real, tongue in cheek or whatever. But yeah, I mean, first, this is the only animated movie to be rated G to come out this year.
Really?
Can you believe that? Yeah, everything.
Because all
else
of them are PG.
PG. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is just straight up wholesome.
Do you really know the difference between G and PG? Like, what is like a deciding factor in a movie where they're like, "Whoa, this has got to be PG"?
I think it's a number of different things. Violence. So if you have any kind of like fight or anything in a G movie, any kind of physical violence, I think you got to up that to PG. Like you
Really?
can have toys fighting, but I think it's like once humans fight.
Oh,
and
or
it's
like
also
animals or something that's
Yeah, and I also think you can say damn in a PG movie, and you can say like ass and stuff like that in a PG movie. Oh yeah,
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's got very specific rules of what makes a PG separate from a G movie. But yeah, I think in PG-13 movies you're allowed to say fuck a couple times.
yeah, fuck once or twice.
Once or twice, yeah. So it's all they always got different. NC-17 movies you're allowed to show anything.
Well, yeah, but when's the last time we've ever seen one of those in a theater?
NC-17 movie. Let me think.
I don't think there's ever been one.
Oh
Not
yeah.
in our time.
No.
Yeah.
Because you can't show them. I mean, no one. You have to be actually 17, so nobody wants to make an NC-17 movie.
I guess so.
It's usually a movie that kind of borderlines pornography.
Do you want to hear the IMDb score for this movie? No.
No, I mean, no.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm good.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, go ahead.
So obviously we know the
Can I guess it?
stereotypical. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay, stereotypical. It's. I'm gonna guess right now. It's higher than stereotypical. Give me no.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna
Yeah.
guess this. I was gonna guess it's like a 7.9 or something like that.
Oh, dude, 0.6 higher. 8.5 out of 10 right now.
See?
Close to 20,000 votes
Well, fuck,
already.
you were giving me nothing with the. Is it
I know,
higher? I
of
thought you were
course
gonna
not.
give me a
I got
nod
a
or
good
something.
poker face. I got a good poker
Well, I
face.
wanted you to give me.
And I refused to give you anything.
No, you were giving me
I was
absolutely
not going to give you
a
anything.
horrible,
I wanted
a
you
horrible
to
improv
guess.
partner.
Yeah.
You were giving me nothing to work
Right.
with.
And I just kept saying, kept saying no.
Just a dead. Give me
In an
some-
improv, you keep saying no. You're
It's
the
yes
worst.
and. It's yes and, yeah.
Always yes and.
Not no.
Never no.
It's a bad improv.
Yeah. You ever say no, I'm going to
You don't-
smack
you
you
don't
until
start-
you say yes and.
You know, start a scene and then one of the characters just goes, no.
It's like that.
Not feeling it.
Hey, can you pass me the...
No.
Where do we take this? Where do we take this?
But yeah, so 8.5. Very good,
Yeah,
man.
very, very good.
That's
And
gonna
obviously
go. That's
wh-
gonna go down. It's gonna hit that 7.5. It's got it.
Ooh, you think?
No, I'm just being funny.
Oh, okay.
It's probably gonna stay.
It probably will. And Rotten Tomatoes is at 98% right now.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't see how you could possibly give this movie a bad review.
I don't see how you can either. It
I
didn't
mean,
miss
it's-
anywhere from
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's
all the way around. This was
It's too
just
wholesome.
a fantastic movie. Like the
Yeah.
CGI, the computer animation was so good. I mean, you could see reflections off the characters'
Yeah.
eyes.
oh, it's peak. It's peak.
You saw reflections off the glass. I mean, dude, incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. And the story's great. We love these characters growing up. I'll just give my grade right now because it's pretty cut and dry for me. This movie is an A.
Yeah,
A solid A. I love Toy Story. Just a great movie, and I'm gonna go see it again. I was really bummed I didn't get to see it earlier today for the second time. But.
I agree. I mean, I don't think for this one our grades really matter because I mean,
yeah, because we all
you're
know
either
what they
gonna
are.
love. I mean, you're either gonna go see it or you're not gonna go see it, right? I mean, but yeah, like you said, these movies. This is the first one where it dawned on me where it's like it's just as important as to the people making it as it is the audience. Where it's again, I said earlier, but it's like this is why I think they keep doing Toy Stories because it's special for Pixar. It's what introduced them to everything. So every time, because they're so limited in Toy Story 1. I mean,
So
they're so
limited.
limited in what they could do, and I mean, it must be difficult to want to tell this story, but know that you're kind of on rails because your technology
And
is only
there's
so
so many
far advanced.
limitations. Yeah.
Yeah, so you want to show so much stuff. I mean, back then they couldn't even show going in the backyard or whatever because the entire city of Los Angeles would lose power or whatever would happen. I don't know, rolling blackouts. But yeah, so everyone, it's an opportunity for them to improve on their first, their baby, what got them started. So I think if you had that ability to do something like that with anything that you're working on, like it'd be important to you. So
Yeah.
it resonates with the movie, and it makes it that much more special. And also with Tom Hanks coming out saying he couldn't even do his last lines because he was bawling, and Tim Allen said he couldn't come into the studio because he was so sad. So how do you give that a bad review? What asshole's gonna come out and say, "Oh, I just fucking hated this"? They were having too much fun out there.
It's like that one guy and there was one guy who gave a bad review on, and then they were, oh crap, what's the name of that? Holy crap, the Peter Jackson, World War I documentary. Why am I spacing here? What's the name
They
of
should
it?
not grow old.
They should not grow old. There was one guy who gave that a bad review, and I'm like, really?
Yeah, that's so bizarre. Was he like?
Are you a
is he
fucking
like,
communist?
Did he
What?
time travel? Was it like Hitler
Yeah,
sitting
he's
out?
like, I'm just not very
I could
happy
have done
with this.
without all the Americans.
Yeah.
Wasn't my really type of my movie.
Too many Brits for me.
Yeah, I could have done without the Germans dying. I mean, it wasn't my favorite, but yeah,
Yeah.
5 out of 10 stars. I mean, but yeah, I mean that's a more bizarre one.
It's a
coming
very-
out.
yeah.
I mean, you got to be like a starch. I mean, who doesn't like? I mean, that movie's so technology advanced where
Hell yeah.
you could even be a kind of a Nazi and kind of still appreciate it. And there wasn't even Nazis in that movie. It was fucking
No, it was World War I.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's pre.
yeah, that's. I would like to see the guy who gave Toy Story 4 a bad review. Of course, I could probably see I could probably see it. A guy saying, "Oh, it's kind of the same what they do," but no, I think this one's gonna end it. I think that was the end. I think it's too. I mean, how do you? Unless it's like Andy having kids or something, and now we gotta bring the gang back together and we gotta go around and. I
don't know. I've always looked at Toy Story, and like when I see the 4 there, it just looks like it's supposed to be. It sounds very weird, but
Yeah.
4, like when I see like that right there, Toy Story 4, like that just it looks good. I don't know if Toy Story 5 would look that good.
I almost wish that they
But-
didn't name it Toy Story 4, and they give it some like
A new franchise spin-off like Hobbs and Shaw.
not only
instead
that,
of
but it was
Fast and
like
Furious.
Toy Story Redemption or Toy Story.
wow.
Yeah, like
So we're gonna go like with Terminator like subtitles.
yeah, like they don't even do numbers anymore in like Terminator or anything. They just do like Terminator Genesis.
only-
I wish it would have
yeah,
been a Toy Story Genesis or just something super
And
like
then hardcore.
like it's the ending or Toy Story. Fucking yeah, what's
the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, or something just like super.
Dramatic.
But yeah, I think yeah.
I think the problem with giving Toy Story titles though is it becomes more episodic after that. You know what I mean? Where they're just doing adventures.
Yeah, well, I think they had to kind of do the number because they've done the number with every
On
other
all
one.
the other
yeah,
ones.
So. But yeah, I think it's a good number to end on. Toy Story 4 doesn't sound horrible. It is kind of weird to end on the 4th entry in any kind of.
It is, and it's not common at all. Typically, it's always trilogies,
But
right?
yeah,
So-
but this is a film that people never thought would get a sequel from the first one.
Well, the first sequel, Toy Story 2, was supposed to originally the concept for that was supposed to go straight to VHS.
Yeah, no one had any.
And then they're like, "Oh shit, we got a good idea,
Yeah.
or this is a good story," and then that's kind of how it was developed more.
And this was the thing with Toy Story 4 was was the main guy, John Lasseter, who's not with Pixar anymore. He's had some sexual misconduct allegations against him, so he's stepping down. He was the original guy from the very first Toy Story. He's run Pixar for a long time.
Not the most attractive looking dude either. Oh my God, this
no, not a guy you would think would.
is.
I know who he looks like. I've seen him a million times. Not a guy you would think would be sexually harassing people either.
No, I don't think so. He doesn't look like the type.
But yeah, this is his last. He wrote this, and but he said they wouldn't have made another Toy Story if they didn't have a good enough story for it. They said they would never have made it if
You never
it wasn't
jeopardize the franchise.
Yeah, it wasn't just a grab and said, "Oh, we got to make another one" because the third one did so well. They did it because they had a story, just like the second one, where they thought it was just gonna be a kind of shitty one-off. They had a story that was so good that they just had to be made, and that's how it was with Toy Story 4, I guess. The story was so good that they said, "Oh, we can't end it on 3." They could have definitely ended it on 3. But I guess if that story was so good, and the script was amazing, the writing was really good. That's kind of how you want to end it.
So, in the news of Toy Story, it opened. So Disney had a very conservative estimate for this weekend, and I know technically it's still Sunday. It's Sunday night right now. But where the box office sits is they had a pretty conservative number at 140 million is what they thought it would do opening weekend. It actually fell short of that. It's only at 118 million.
Yeah, I saw that it was a little,
but I think
a little
second
less
weekend,
than I thought. It's gonna make enough money
because all the adults went this weekend. I feel a lot of them did.
Yeah.
And I think for the adults that don't go and see it this weekend, they're going to take their kids to it next weekend. I think Toy Story 4 will have. I mean, not as strong, but I think it'll have a strong second weekend.
This will be a movie that will be making money even at the end of August. It'll be ran throughout the entire summer, and they'll be taking. I mean, this will be a movie that parents will probably take their kids multiple times during the summer, just because it's during the summer and you're sick of your kids and you just want to be quiet for 2 seconds because they're not in school. So I think this movie's gonna do fine.
Yeah,
I did see that it was less than they thought, but they always assume it's just going to come out and make $1 billion. And if anything less than $1 billion, they're very
not
unhappy.
happy.
Yeah. But I don't care. This movie could make $1 and it would still be worth it. It'd still be worth it because I feel like before going into it, I feel like I didn't need it. But after seeing it, I feel like I had to have it. I had to have it.
And I like, too, that they didn't, because a lot of movies nowadays, they're tending to be on the longer side of, or on the soft side of 2 hours.
This was not. It was hour 40.
Hour and 40
right?
minutes,
Yeah.
right on the nose, which I did appreciate because I didn't ever sit there and feel like it was too long.
No, and for
a majority of the Toy Story movies,
for a kids movie, it should not be on the long side.
No.
You don't really want to go see a 3-hour long epic unless it's it's got to be a pretty good kid story to. But the 148 was quick and to the point.
All of them sit at anywhere from an hour and 32 minutes to an hour and 43 minutes, which is right on the nose.
If anyone knows the formula, it's Pixar.
Yeah,
totally. I mean, they know what they're doing exactly, and every Pixar movie is around that time.
And you're able to have more showings that way too.
And you'll be able to show. Although this one didn't, they usually have like a 10-minute short at the start of
this is the first one in 23 years not to have a short start before a Pixar film.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I was so pissed off. I cannot remember what Pixar movie I went to. Oh, it was Coco. I went to go see Coco, and they played this 15-minute. It was probably longer than that. I was so furious. But they played this short, Frozen 2 short, and it took forever. Forever.
I know. That's not even a good short.
No. Wasn't a good short at all.
No.
It actually kind of made me not want to
go
see another.
It's not a short. Usually, all those shorts are really creative and on their own. I mean, they're very interesting, but just a Frozen 2.
Well,
and they're making a Frozen 2. It was really just a trailer for the next Frozen.
Yeah, an extended trailer is all it was. And I like the original Pixar short films, like The Old Man and the Chess Game, where he's playing himself. Mm-hmm. That's iconic. That's classic. I mean, for me anyway, as a child growing up, I loved
that was
watching
again. Those shorts were back when they didn't have a lot, so they had to make them very simple. Because the first one is the 10 guy who doesn't talk at all. He's got the whatever the music things are, and he's got the drum on his back, and they showed him actually in this Toy Story. But those original shorts are very simple. I remember the Finding Nemo one was. the snowman and the fishbowl or whatever. They're usually pretty good.
Yeah, they are.
I look forward to them. I was surprised, and it gives you a little extra time if you're running a little
If you're
late.
running late.
For this one, I had to be. I think I was a little, but I got there before it started. Luckily, they run 20 minutes of trailers anyway, so I got there.
It's so nice. That's one thing I like about AMC now is I know the movie's not going to start for 20 minutes. So I'm like, 1:40 start time. I can get there at 2:05.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna go get something to eat real quick or whatever.
Yeah, I used to love just going and watching those trailers, but now I've seen them all. Now they just
Well,
now
we do them all the time on this podcast too. So it's
yeah,
like,
and now they run them for so long too. There's too many of them at the start.
there are.
I don't want to see 8 trailers where I go.
I think a good
few of
number
them-
is about 4 to 6. Probably, 4
Yeah.
to 6. Yeah.
Even less than 4. I remember back in the day when you would go see 3 or 4. And it'd be trailers you never seen before because the internet wasn't invented. So
Yeah,
that was the first
like
time you saw.
every single movie you went and saw was a different trailer. Let's
Yeah.
do 4. Let's do 4.
Every one is
But-
different, but now you're seeing the same trailer. And
For
again,
different films.
you're seeing on every ad for every internet, anything. So you're seeing those trailers multiple times. Unless you're going like on
But
a
I'd rather-
Friday opening night where they're going to release a brand new trailer that no one's seen before, and then it's kind of worth it.
But I do appreciate the marketing aspect of film because like movies like Bad Times at El Royale, they didn't do enough marketing. So we didn't see it. We weren't as enthusiastic about it. But with something like this, it is.
Yeah,
Like,
but some films get too much marketing that aren't good.
Oh, well, yeah, there's that too. It's the even flow.
Like I
of the
couldn't tell you
whole-
how many of what's the movie Anita?
You mean
Battle
yeah.
Angel?
Alita.
Alita.
Battle Angel.
They were really shoving that down our throats.
Yeah, they
like
were.
I saw it has so many Alita Battle Angel. Well, by the time I saw it, it was just like
Well,
I've seen this movie.
Annabelle's one of those things too, where I see whenever an Annabelle movie comes out, I mean,
Yes.
it's everywhere. Those
It's
ads are everywhere.
Well, it's because they save so much money, not so little, because they spend so much money, or they spend so little money filming those movies. They have a huge budget for advertising.
Well, yeah, you think about the cast. The cast is always fairly small. It's always about this monster hurting, or not monster, but demonic entity, terrorizing a family.
Yeah, those are
I mean, the set pieces aren't going to be intricate. You're
no,
not
and those are
talking
all
Shape of Water
those are
stuff.
Blumhouse films. Those are all why they make so much money. I mean, those are they're genius. You can make a scary movie for $2 million and
Turn around and make 50.
make
at the box
100
office.
million. Yeah, and easy. No, I mean it's always set in a house. It's not set in space.
No,
I mean, so it's pretty. I mean, it's never real complicated. It's
Not-
not set at
not the
fucking
slightest.
Hogwarts or something where you got to build an entire world. It's usually set in a basement. Basements. Everyone's got a goddamn basement.
everyone does. We're in one right now.
Look at her.
Look at it. Not quite as terrifying.
Not scary. Nah, not scary at
Not
all.
scary.
Really, unfortunately.
Except the chains that are posted here up
Chain,
against
yeah.
the wall. Yes. We have 2 captives currently.
We call them interns,
we interns, yes. Interns, but
but other people would disagree with
They
us.
do.
The law would disagree. They would call them slaves.
indentured slaves.
But what do they know? What do people know? Everything's about being PC nowadays.
Yeah,
They're not allowed
Not
to
allowed
own
to have
people.
indenture. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, Mason, that was Toy
Clearly
Story
joking.
4. That was one of your most anticipated films of the year, right?
I actually, honestly, dude, I legitimately
I know.
was looking
I'm
forward
not
to this.
kidding.
Yes, I have a special place in my heart for Toy Story. I
Yeah.
really do love these movies,
It's hard not
and it was
to.
one of the few that I could actually watch Cash as a 5-6-year-old.
At the very end.
that's
Oh,
the
yeah.
thing.
Well, you said this isn't your favorite. Which one's your favorite then?
My favorite Toy Story. Man, it's so hard to pick a favorite, but I'd probably have to go with 2.
Oh, yeah. You knew
probably
I
have
was
to go
gonna
with
say.
2.
You knew I was going to say 2.
Are you a 2 too?
Oh,
Two,
2. Yeah, dude. 2 ka-chew. Yeah, 2 is awesome, man. 2's got the best soundtrack. It's got
It
that
is.
Sarah.
And I love the introduction of
Sarah Ma-
Jesse and Bullseye.
It's got
and
that Sarah
Stinky Pete.
McLaughlin song where they're doing the flashback of Jesse and her girl. That's
That
the
was the
saddest.
saddest moment ever.
That's the saddest out of any Toy Story for
Dude.
sure. Where she just falls like under the bed and just forgot about. And then Sarah McLaughlin, man, you played Sarah McLaughlin during anything, you're gonna cry.
Dude, they had those advertisements for a while for those animal shelters.
Everyone's
It's just
I know.
these sad looking
Eyes of an Angel,
dogs.
yeah.
Gosh.
Sarah McLaughlin, what a bummer she must be.
Just a bummer to be around. Imagine just having a
You
party
can't have
at
a
your
good
house.
time.
She shows up.
She
She
starts
singing "Arms of an Angel." You're like,
Yeah.
Who gave her a fucking guitar?
Now we all
first
gotta
off?
cry.
Second
Now
off, why are you
she carries
singing?
one around.
This is my
always.
party.
She carries one around.
Yeah.
Yeah, now everyone's got to cry. Sarah McLachlan walks in a room, you go from happy to just despair, just wanting
Borderline
to...
depression.
Yeah, wanting to give all your money to dogs.
And cats
What are they going to do
and
with
just
all...
little fur
What are they going
animals?
to do with all that money?
I don't know. They're still going to euthanize those things.
You know, it's just Sarah McLachlan getting all that money.
She's rolling. She loves that
She
royalty
thinks she would do it
income
for
from
free.
that
She's not
song.
doing that for free.
No.
Hell no.
She don't care about those dogs.
Why the hell is
She
she
doesn't care about a
adopted them?
paycheck though. Yeah. Well, yeah. What does she adopt? What does she start a charity
All
or a
thousands
shelter?
of those dogs.
She's like, please donate.
Oh, yeah, Sarah.
Dang it, Sarah.
Didn't have a song in this one. Of course, we didn't even talk about the music.
Well, the
at
music's
all.
always great.
Yeah, it's always done by what's his name? You Got a Friend in Me. Oh my god, I'm completely blanking.
It's Randy Newman.
Does the music for all of them. He's done the
All
music
of
for
them. Yep,
everyone.
since the original.
That
I was drawing a blank too.
we didn't
so
talk
no
about it, but
worries.
that opening scene, because it does a flashback first. And then it does that intro in the clouds, and then you start hearing "He got a friend," and yeah, and it's just
I love.
it's
the
hard not to
intro,
put a
too.
smile on.
It
your
does,
face.
and it's very nostalgic, and that's
Yeah,
because
every time you see that, you know you're watching a Toy Story movie. You know you're gonna have a good
and
time.
it brings you back to the original.
Yeah, from when you first saw
Every
it, yeah.
time when I see the clouds and the little, the light
Yeah.
blue,
You know immediately,
background
yeah.
wall,
And those
it's just-
big, thick yellow words, and you're back in Andy's room. Those creepy ass toys.
Oh, dude.
Honestly,
we
my
should probably do. We should probably review all three of these. Inevitably, someday on this podcast, we should.
Yeah, we should.
It would be fun, and we could put them all together.
Toy Story
in a-
2 is
in
gonna be
their own
hard to
category.
review. We should do a live review of that one. Just you want to watch two men just sob
Uncontrollably, two grown ass
to
men.
a child's film, then tune in for that. 'Cause
Yes.
If you don't want to kill yourself after watching that, then there's not much that's gonna do it. You're in a good place.
You're in a very good place. I'd say you're solid.
mentally strong.
Yes.
You're stronger than
conquer
us.
the world.
Because that is going to be depressing. That movie, Toy Story 2 is one that's just more depressing, I think, than fun even.
Yeah, in a lot of ways. I think that's maybe why I like it more.
Yeah, it's taught me the realities of life. And old Pete,
Stinky Pete.
Stinky Pete, that bastard. Again, that was one of those villains that was just kind of just mean. Something a little different than old Gabby was.
Yeah, he was an asshole all around. I mean, I get it. He was bitter as fuck, man.
Remember,
can
he
you
never
imagine
left the
being in the
box.
box. Yeah, that's what I was about to. Yeah, can you imagine being in the box for your entire duration of your life and never being able to leave that box and never being played with as a child when that's your one purpose in life is to be played, but some asshole collector comes along, buys you,
Yeah.
and never opens you.
Well, that was the shitty kind of person.
Says the guy
Al
who
was.
has pop figures up there.
You can't
that
really
have
play
never
with a
been
pop
opened.
figure,
No,
though.
you can't. Those toys must hate me. I haven't played with them one time. I bought them, put them up there.
I got a feeling if a pop figure comes alive, there's not much going on
Probably
up
not.
there. Or maybe they're all little personalities of who they are. Wouldn't that be cool?
That'd be awesome.
So you got you got Assassin's Creed.
I've got Bob Ross.
You got Des Bryant up
I
there.
got
Little
Des.
Des.
I got Des. I got Superman.
That one probably wouldn't be that
Catwoman,
cool.
and a
but-
ton of Star Wars ones.
Yeah. Oh, you have Nibbler from Futurama. That's a
I
good
do
one.
have Nibbler.
He'd eat all your shit.
All my shit.
He could
I gotta
eat
keep
anything,
that little
yeah.
guy in the box. That's for sure.
But yeah, you got some good ones up there.
Des Bryant would just start complaining all the time to me,
He'd be pretending he's hurt.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
calling me names, threatening to beat
Still
me
saying
up
he's
'cause he
coming.
thinks-
Still saying he's coming back.
Yeah.
I'm playing next
I'm
year.
playing. Oh, okay, sure.
You're done.
Yeah, we
Des.
believe you.
Des, you're done.
Just give up.
But yeah. Well, anything else, Mace? You want to talk about?
I think that's it.
That was
and
the sad conclusion of Toy Story, I think. Until next year when we're reviewing Toy Story 5.
It's totally.
The
You know,
return.
the return.
The return of who died? The return of
How about this?
the
What if
return
it's-
of Stinky Pete.
Dude, there were so many fun. Yeah, the return. Ooh, dang. Okay.
He's still in his box. 'Cause
He's
remember, he couldn't walk.
still-
'Cause remember, he got shipped off to Japan.
He did. He was the
Brilliant.
only toy to get shipped off.
Because they're all
Yeah,
going
'cause
to
they saved them
Japan,
all.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah. What if Toy Story 5 was just like Sid? And I saw a bunch of YouTube comments. This was hilarious. They're like, yeah, Toy Story 5 will be Sid escaping from asylum and Woody having to lock him back up. Woody and Buzz. I was
See,
like,
man,
that's
we're not
pretty
the
funny.
only ones that were talking about Sid being a serial killer. We
No,
were on to
yeah,
something.
we
We weren't
were on to
saying that
something
just for
hot.
anything.
No, yeah. Because YouTube was feeling it too.
Oh,
There
yeah,
were
I
so
see,
many
yeah.
Sid jokes. I was like, this is fun.
We didn't even get a Sid in this one. We could have got Sid like as a carny or something.
Yeah, we could have in the
Coulda.
background, but
Yeah.
he was a garbage man in 3.
Yeah,
We did see him as a garbage man in 3, so it would have been hard to see him as a carny. But I mean,
Why?
people
He's
get new
Sid.
jobs.
Yeah, I think he probably just travels the world murdering women.
Wow.
what I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
probably. I mean, the more I
not
think
murdering-
about it, yeah, he's not murdering toys anymore.
No,
it's
he's
kind of an
murdering-
escalation.
Well, it always
game.
escalates, yeah.
So you go from toys, animals,
hmm
and then people.
Then
I think
people.
that's the stair step.
Oh, for sure,
Right.
definitely. And he was very close with animals. He was right up. I mean, you could tell he's about to get his hands on that dog. I didn't feel comfortable for that dog.
Never, not one
Although
time.
that dog was a little sadistic.
He was mean. He was a
piece of shit.
sadistic
You
bastard.
go back and watch the first story. That dog he doesn't look much like a dog. He's
and it's
creepy.
a rabid dog. I mean, dude, the
And his
first chance he
teeth
got
are
with
like
that,
his teeth are like Pennywise from It.
Mhm.
They're all like claws. It's like, what kind of dog is this?
But again, they just didn't have the
Didn't know.
technology. But man, as soon as that dog got a hold of that little green alien, I felt so bad for that thing.
Yeah, I went nuts. Those green aliens though, they're tough as nails.
They are.
They're
They're
alive
very
and all.
durable.
They didn't have any lines in this one.
They
It's
didn't.
The only
I know.
one
I was
that-
actually really kind of not upset, but I was a little shocked by it.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, that would have been nice to see that.
Again, this was Woody's story.
It was.
Those other characters did not have a lot of lines. Even Jesse and them barely had any. I feel like when Jesse talked, it was just they're like, we gotta let her talk at least once. We gotta give her some lines. She did become sheriff at the end. We didn't talk about that.
She did. That was a good moment too, and I knew because this was one of the things because I didn't see everything coming, but I did see that when I saw that Bonnie took the sheriff thing from Woody and put it on Jesse. I go, okay. At the end, Woody's gonna give his badge to Jesse.
That was
and he
good.
did.
And then they all
and it was a
hugged.
great moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's so weird too, because Woody and Bo Peep always had a relationship, right? Even since the original film. And then we see Jesse get introduced in Toy Story 2, and you go, okay, maybe this is Woody's new love interest. It never was that
No,
way.
I always felt it
It
was
was
more.
Jesse and Buzz
I always felt it was a more brother-sister relationship
Yes.
with Jesse and Woody.
and Woody.
Woody's got Bo Peep. That's the finest toy in the toy box, my guy.
It is a classic.
You're
too.
not trading-
On top of that, Bo Peep is classic.
Oh, she's classic as hell. Who knows how old she is?
Old.
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 Porcelain.
1920s,
Yeah,
man.
for sure.
I
She
mean,
was
the
just-
story at least of Bo
yeah.
Peep.
But yeah. So you're not trading down.
No.
You got the and Bo Peep in this one. Oh boy, she's got a whole new dynamic. in
She
this.
does.
She's looking finer. For somehow she got new clothes.
Yeah,
Not
new
sure-
clothes. Yeah.
Not sure how
clothes and
that
a
process
facelift
went.
or something. I don't know.
She's looking
a
younger.
lot
She's
better.
looking fine. Yeah, she's looking good for sure. Maybe it was that dress. That dress was adding a little, like 15 pounds.
Yeah,
to her. She
I
had a
didn't-
big
yeah.
old dress on.
Sometimes it's what you wear.
That's true. That's very true. You got to protect yourself out there.
Me too.
But yeah. Well, what else we got?
I mean, that's about it. Follow us on YouTube, guys. Type in "Have You Seen It" podcast. Have you seen it? The scene is spelled SCENE. And subscribe to our channel. Make sure to like this video. Comment what your thoughts were on Toy Story 4 in the comment sections below. You can follow us on Facebook. Type in "Have You Seen It?" Instagram, "Have You Seen It?" Twitter, "Seen It Podcast." You can find our podcast in audio format on any platform. We've got Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Google Play, Stitcher, anywhere you guys can find it. That is where we are. Interact with us. Let us know what you guys thought. My name is Mason Knight, and that is Cash Kraus, and we have officially gone over the actual time of the movie. So
Have we?
we have.
Oh, Jesus.
We have surpassed that.
Again, short movie.
Very short movie. Yeah. All right.
Adios.